There are many simple things in the world. Shovels. They are all different. Gardening shovel. Unloading shovel. Children's shovel. But there is also a different shovel. We use it when we come to the position. In short time, it helps us dig a trench which saves us from bullets. If a tank will pass over the trench, there is a high probability that it will not cause any harm to the soldier. We dig in the ground, deeper, and then connect the trenches with our friends to the left. In just a few hours, trenches are all connected. When we do not have an axe, we can use a shovel to cut a loaf of bread. A soldier uses a shovel as a paddle, crossing the wide river under enemy fire. If we run out of ammunition, we will use a shovel again, and then we'll move on. And when we get the order to stop, we'll take a shovel again and build around us an impregnable fortress. This fortress is defended by the Army of Ukraine, our army.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
Yeah, you said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Shit, forgot to turn my mic on. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence. Man, on this 6 April. And we're already in April. 6 April. 2026 in the year of our, man, what a dumpster fire we got going on this year. This is fun. This is fun. This is some fun shit. I mean, I'm kind of like, it's kind of cool. All the stuff we got going on in the world, here and abroad. Is there like a 4-day weekend or something like that? Did you guys get a 4-day weekend for Easter? The reason why I asked that is because the traffic in the inbox at U.S. Army WTF Moments has been like kind of quiet. It's like kind of atypical. I don't know, just odd for our listening audience. We normally get like some traffic here and there. We got somebody complaining about doing some duty or something like that or whatever. But it just, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of quiet. Maybe I don't know what's happening. I just think that this is kind of like, all right, it's interesting. Good to know that we have I guess we're okay. I guess we're good. Anyway, we got a guest tonight. Man, I'm excited. Matter of fact, let me pull up. If you guys didn't see the promo or anything like that, we got Colin Jones, presidential candidate. This kicks off our And this kicks off our WTF Nation Decides. You guys know, anytime you are a candidate and you want to come on WTF Nation Radio at U.S. Army WTF Moments, or you want to show your wares and get your message out there, feel free to come on and shoot the breeze with us. We are more than happy to chat with y'all. And the best part about it is that most of we run the gamut on who comes on. It doesn't really matter what. I was going to say faith. Sorry, Easter kick there. It doesn't really matter what faith you are. It doesn't really matter what political affiliation you are. You want to be you're part of the veteran community. You want to come over here and shoot the breeze and hang out with us. Hey, man, this is the place to do it. We'll hear you out, and of course, we got some questions or whatever. Feel free to use the chats. And I just ask for respect to our guests as always. At any time, they come on and shoot the breeze with us, because we kind of like want to, welcome to the WTF Nation and shoot the breeze. All right. So you guys saw the big news over the Easter weekend. Oh, hi guys from San Antonio. Cool. Everything okay in San Antonio, by the way? I was hearing some stuff. So the F-15 Echo F-15E weapons system operator has been rescued. Everyone's talking about what happened. Everyone was talking about blow by blow, whatever. We're not going to get into the specific details of everything that happened during the operation. But everybody knows that since the individual's plane was shot down, I don't even know. Can we say if it's a guy, a girl, or something like that? If it's a male, female pilot. But anyways, has been rescued after a risky combat search and rescue operation and a fierce firefight in southern Iran. The pilot had already been retrieved. English is my second language. During the rescue operation, in which 2 Jolly Green combat search and rescue helicopters were reportedly damaged by incoming fire and injuring several troops. Of course, President Trump took to Truth Social to announce that the weapons system WSO was secured. Quote, "We got on my fellow Americans over the past several hours. The United States military pulled off one of the most daring search and rescue operations in U.S. history. One of our incredible crew member officers, who also happens to be a highly respected colonel. Just going to find out the rank. Who I'm thrilled to let you know is now safe and sound." Unquote. So, unquote. That's pretty much it. Everyone was kind of like, was there so much to be said during the operation that individuals should have kind of like kept kind of on the DL a little bit until the rescue was complete. I know everyone took to X to post most of their updates. I know that's like a lot of OSINT, open source intel, sites were posting all the stuff and all that. I feel kind of uneasy seeing some of that stuff posted like in real time, because it was almost like giving the bad guys kind of like the edge. Like you're telling them this is what happened and this is in real time. That's one thing about X. If you jump on X, it's like TikTok as well. It's pretty fast. It is pretty rapid in the information. It's not like how you have to go find it. Facebook, you got to go through your specific algorithms depending on who you follow. Meta really sucks to put you where you're gonna think they want you to listen to or see or view whatever. It just I don't know. To me, it just doesn't. I don't know. Now Twitter's like crack, or X, they call it now. It's like crack. You get on there and someone want to fight you. It's not like posting in the comments at on Facebook at U.S. Army WTF Moments. Somebody will be in there and will go at you. I like that point-to-point engagement. That's my kind of posting. Somebody wants to fight you on the webs, they'll fight you right in there. What's up, Wayne? Holly says somebody is going to jail. Do you honestly think someone's going to go to jail, Holly? The reason why I ask is because at U.S. Army WTF Moments, we receive a lot of information as well, and then we post. And then somebody came and tried to say, hey, you better give us that information of who sent you that stuff, even though it was like, I don't know, something innocuous. Hey, what's up, Wayne? Oh, yeah. Remember that one time at PsyOps camp where nobody ever went there? You gonna pull some tinfoil out there, Wayne? You got some tinfoil out there. Again, how do I feel about it being posted? Well, I just did kind of like the fact that it was blow by blow. Something that could have waited a delay or something like that, or maybe like a wrap up. Like if it was like if you got all the information first and you were able to get it and put it and post it, bam, right when that everyone's saying Wizzo, I guess, the Wizzo was secured. That once that crew member was secured, hell yeah, post it, get your Pulitzer, and there you go. But to do it kind of like blow by blow, yeah, there was individuals that were sending us information. They're like, hey, you see this? Hey, someone else posted that. How come you guys aren't sharing? Hey, did you notice this? Did you notice? And I'm like, I don't, nah. I just kind of like, Holly says that Trump said earlier in his speech, I believe they already know who the journalist was. I'm about to say, there's a lot, how do I say this? Journalists, sources, leaks, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty hard to nail down. There's a lot of people that kind of knew what was sort of happening in real time, but like I said, didn't post it. If anybody else wants to claim attribution and say, yeah, it was me to get that scoop. Yeah, it was me. I don't know what you're talking about. You heard it here first. It was for me. Maybe you should not be posting like that. Maybe whatever. But if, you know, Trump did say that, we're going to go after the reporter, we're going to go after the leaker, whatever. I mean, did you guys see his presser today? It's you know, how many when he goes to the Joint Chiefs, it's like how many men did we send out all together approximately? And then General Kane says, I'd love to keep that a secret. Okay, but I'll tell you the number and I'll keep it secret. But it was hundreds and hundreds. I'm like, okay. So again, Holly, I don't know. I mean, he's the president. He can declassify whatever he wants. He's the declassification authority. But I just think that it's funny that it's kind of like, you mean like an AAR? Ooh, Lord, oh man, Lord. Ted in there with the bombs right there. Let me fan myself with our AAR propaganda. Make sure you donate to AAR, of course. Always I'm going to plug AAR, supporting soldiers and their families since 1942. And no, they don't pay me to say that. You mean like an AAR? Oh, Ted, I'm going to say it. But the reason why I said that was a good zinger right there is I'm still waiting for the AAR from the evac from Afghanistan. Or the AAR from Abbey Gate. But people who are still in uniform, though, you know, not waiting to retire and then testify before Congress and said, these were the faults that happened. What's up, JD? What's up, Keith? What's up, Leroy? Yeah. Leroy hit right there. I haven't seen, man, Leroy, you keep changing your PFP, your profile pic. I got to stay on top of that. Published the whole story after the fact. Crazy talk. Yeah. That's why we didn't post everything. Everyone was sending us some good information. And I'm like, the team was kind of like, are we going to really post that? I'm not going to post that. We're not going to post that shit. No. You know? Post Sydney Sweeney without makeup or something like that before we post that shit. I'm going to post that. So Axios, all the big, and then of course there were some foreign media outlets that were posting possible, maybe or maybe not, wrong information, and I'm like, dudes, everyone wants to be first. Everyone wants to be the first to catch and say, yes, that was me. I was the one it was me that I was the one that released information. I want to see my AAR after worms are chewing on me. Yeah, exactly. Let's not bring up yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I know. Yeah. It still irks me, man. That everything about the withdrawal in Afghanistan, Abbey Gate and all that still, oh man. But yeah, it's just kind of like one of those things where you're thinking, yeah, you guys, it's okay. Pump your brakes. It's okay to report. I mean, is this a new method? Somebody said, is this a new method of reporting now? A new method of reporting now when we just scoop at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's like now people are just, fuck it. We'll report it. We'll report it on the, hey, oh yeah, well, hang on, let me grab this. Oh yeah, we'll report this as it's happening. Not waiting for that seems to be media. Everyone says a 24-hour news cycle. Shit, we're on a 25-second news cycle now. Anytime you have something like that, I'm really leery, especially that Hey, we love our fellow veteran / mill media / mill memes pages and stuff like that. Hey, that's on you if you want to share that stuff like that. But it's just, I don't know. I just don't feel good about it. I feel uncomfortable about it. I feel about uncomfortable as the toilet in the Artemis going bad again. Did you guys hear about that? It's out. It ain't doing good. So again, I'm just like, so I that's what I know. And it doesn't help when you have the president come out and he's now, he's the, come on, man, he's the piggyback, caveat, just want the behoove. He's that type of speaker. Mr. President, maybe you should not leave it on. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm behooving, I'm caveating. We had hundreds of great guys out there. They were out there just getting it, stacking bodies. Of course, foreign media is playing this like a big victory, as they always do. Saying that this was the loss of aircraft. People don't understand the ethos. Leave no man, or leave no one, I should say, because we have men and women that are flying in those aircraft as well. Hell, anybody, to matter of fact. Leave no one behind. So, yes, willing to, it was a $300 million rescue operation. Man, we should have plunked down another $500 million and dropped some bombs in other places while we were at it. Yeah, exactly that. Oh, man, big time. One up. I hate the fucking, the one-upment stuff. Everybody's actually doing that right now. Currently, when it comes to reporting about it, while the events were happening during, over the Easter weekend, and you're like, dude, stop. You're, and I'm gonna tell you what, these OSINT weenies, they got the tism. All they have to do is get a picture of a horizon. There are guys out there that can literally triangulate positions and stuff like that. And there's everybody going, oh, I'm gonna share this. Yep. I'm gonna post this up. Stop. That ain't cool. I will say this, that one of the funnier things that we saw this one image that we seen of their one of the air crews. I guess the air crew or one of the team guys left their chonies, their underwear. American Eagle chonies, boxers. They posted it up and they were celebrating. They were like, oh, down on the snack bar and all that stuff. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I would not be celebrating if I got somebody's drawers. If I got captured, I'll be honest with you. I mean, after running around for a few days, I bet you, those stank ass drawers, I just guarantee it. Stank. If that's what you want to say, dude, that's a flex. What are you talking about? That's flying your shit over denied territory right there. With them, yeah, exactly that. I hope there's a big shit state in there. Yeah, exactly. Oh, now of course, at every time Iran or anything posts their propaganda or their messaging, they always overdo it and say, we got these American whatever. They had this one jet one time. It was an F-35 kit bashed with like a F-15 Eagle using AI. And it was hilarious because it didn't even look right. And they made it sound like we got this plane and we got this blah, blah, blah. So somebody did the same thing with that type of graphic with, Iranians gathered around and they they did the same thing with the underwear as well. Let me fix that. Lord have mercy. So, and in a way, and I think everyone's saying that these draws are already sold out, according to reports out there that these chonies have been sold out. Chonies is the English nickname for saying calzones, underwear in Spanish. So in case you guys don't want to know, whatever. Pip says, bomb, 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 Iran. I had said in a group chat talking to some friends, I said nuke Iran, and everyone's kind of like chuckling and then not chuckling. They're like, Ken, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, fine. 4 aircraft left behind plus others. Well, 4 aircraft left behind plus others shot to shit plus numerous others shut down. Even the OSIN isn't easy. It's overhyped. Patrick says they were just celebrating that they didn't have to buy the used underwear online like normal. Okay, Dookie shoes. Ted says you go commando. No, I'm sorry, man. I chafe. Maybe it's the way I ruck or something like that. I chafe. I got to wear chonies. I got to wear them. Yeah, exactly that. There's another one there. JD brings up another good point. Love the AI pick where they were showing that they had Delta operators and full OCPs with a PC. Yeah, exactly. You know what's crazy is that Mima and Pop Poppers are just sharing those pictures. You get some Facebook relative that goes in there and says, "Oh, look at this. It's so great." Iranian, yes. You know, I'm glad you brought that up, Leroy. I was talking to some friends today. In another group chat. And I'm just surprised at the brazen psyop propaganda, information operations, influence stuff that the Iranians are doing. And we're not counting back. I'm confused why they needed C-130s in the rescue for one individual, and especially not two. Can anyone clarify? Yes. Well, more than likely, the C-130s were probably carrying individuals to assist in the rescue operation. And also, if you notice in some of the damaged aircraft pictures that you see, there was also little birds. There is a method. They just had an exercise a couple months prior, stating that they were just showing our capabilities of dropping off aircraft in a landing zone or a unimproved road, and offloading MH6s, little birds. You can just dig it up. You just click on that, and that's where we do it. It's probably SOP. There's a lot of. We're not going to relive a Desert One. Use white stick deodorant to prevent chafing. Nah, man. Nah. Nope. I wear chonies just like that. And sometimes I will ankle hose too, so that way to prevent blisters. Sorry. Depends on the distance. They were carrying ham and bacon MREs. Yeah, exactly that. The Soleimani daughters were kicked out. Did you see that? Yes. I think they were the great nieces though, not daughters. I think it was like the daughter, or it was a niece and a great niece or something like that. So rep the set. I guess maybe you shouldn't talk crap about the U.S. while you're wearing a visa or something like that. There's a lot of controversy with that too as well. Did the State Department overstep their bounds by doing that? The beef stick, yeah. Yeah, it's exactly the beef. Okay, I'll put this one up. Beef jerky. Let's see, was it a beef jerky or a beef stick or something? Someone said, I seen the picture. I didn't know what it was, but no, I thought it was a beef stick. I thought it was like a piece of an MRE. Here we go. Now, of course, like because everybody wants the credit. Everyone wants the credit. I might have to. Again, this is from foreign media. These are alleged images, and this is just some of the information that they're posting around. Looks like some toothpaste or something like that. I don't know what the hell that is. What is that? Made along with the chonies, yes. There's the beef stick you're talking about. Like it says teriyaki beef. Yeah. And looks like some personal hygiene stuff. Everyone's kind of like wondering why whatever. I don't want to disrespect the peoples that are there. That's probably the first time they've ever seen hygiene equipment. So I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. Exactly. They probably didn't know what toothpaste was for. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Yeah, it was Dev Group. Yeah, everyone say, well, no, but the makeup of the rescue team. I'll just say that PJs, members of JSOC. No, it's not new. This has not been before. As a matter of fact, shit, what is like the anniversary? What few years back, this is the Task Force Viking when they infilled Operation Ugly Baby. They landed on an unimproved airstrip and just outside of Erbil and conducted operations and set anything up there too as well. So I think it was more secured up in Erbil, but still considered hostile. That dirt is the best soap. Yeah, exactly. Write the book already. How many you think no, I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about the pararescue community. I don't know anything about them. I don't know what they're I mean, come on, man, for the PJs, that's a badass. I guess we could stop making fun of the Air Force, right? Or we could just keep making fun of the Air Force. I'll just say somebody says, like, at any time, this is a disclaimer that the Army makes fun of the Air Force. We are not including, just for the rest of the year, the PJs in this. Did they use drone? I don't know. I think they used some of the bigger drones. But again, catch up to all the feeds, catch up to all the other briefings and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, let me see. There was another link that I wanted to show you guys. So here's and to come up with that point about the Iranians' Lego propaganda from Leroy Jenkins said. Now, again, this is fucking. I mean, you gotta fucking chuckle at this, but this is fucking funny. This is funny. I mean, I can say this now. We can say this now that the pilot is fucking safe and everything's okay and everybody's good to go. But this is part of the veteran humor, right? You bust your ass, everyone asks you if you're okay, and then if you say, yeah, I'm okay, then everybody laughs at you. So this is fucking insane. I mean, they moved in faster on this and I don't think I've ever seen anybody move fast on it before. They have moved in pretty quick on their propaganda with using Legos. Matter of fact, I think there was the first few to do it. The first few posts to do it. Didn't see any counter, didn't see anybody coming back, didn't see any clapbacks, didn't see any other jokes or whatever. So somebody even posted a video version, and they made it with they made it with Grok. So the only one that I saw, and this is from Joshua Hartley, posted something on here that it was pretty slick right here. Let me get the matter of fact, I'm gonna have to just like cut my camera out so you guys can see this. This is a good counter, as opposed from what they were talking about, what happened, to what really happened. Let me kill my camera off on this one so you guys can see its glory. There you go. Let me put the music on here because it's got music, it's got sound. So here we go. There we go. I think that's the one you were talking about, Leroy. America. With Legos. So anyways. Oh, hang on. Let me put that back on there. See, I can. There we go. There we go. All right. So I think that's the one you were referring to, right, Leroy? Has Lego responded? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Has Lego responded to who, though? That image that you saw of what Iran posts, the Iranian embassy or the Iranian propagandists were posting, as opposed to the other one was made by Grok on X. I'm not. See, that's the thing. When it comes to AI, I'm not too fond of AI, and I don't. Nah, I'm not too fond of it. The reason why it's I don't know. You could just tell. Looks like a bad Mad Magazine comic or something. It just doesn't look right. It looks out of phase. Now, for animation, AI is hilarious. It is freaking. It is funny as hell. Some of it actually is pretty good. On the serious note, there's a page that we follow each other. It's called PsyOp Anime. I don't know if you've seen that crew, man. They post some good ones. I mean, I like anime, so I like Gundam and shit like that. So that stuff is Fifth soft truth was not like one tier conducting an operation. Not that the STSs aren't soft. Yeah, yeah. You know, I was just thinking that too. Yeah, I think it was a bunch of people involved. I think JD, that's where everyone gets into the delineation of what's considered soft. You know, what we say in USA soccer, the tribes. You know, SF, PSYOP, and CA, and then of course the upper tiers of that. And then in some of them that are involved in intel, some of them that are involved, like I said, STS is pararescue. I think they do combat weathermen, CCT, and stuff like that as well. So again, it's just one of those things to where, I would rather. I want to see us shit post more. I want to see US involvement. I want to see our PSYOP peeps do some shit posting. I thought that would have been hilarious. Seeing some shit like that. Okay, here's the this is one from PSYOP Anime. I know you guys wanted to see this one. Now, PSYOP Anime admits that they use AI in their posting. This is pretty fucking good. Again, I like anime, so I'm going back to what I was saying. To me, I think animation for using AI for animation is it's cool as shit. So let me hide my face, and then let's check out. This is not even 24 seconds, so let's check out the PSYOP Anime.
聞こえるか来たぞアメリカ人が来たぞ聞こえるか来たぞ
Okay, and that was I'm gonna show my face on here now. That's badass. Again, I'm a fan of anime, but this is a badass shit. How come we don't see us? I want PSYOP Anime. How come we don't see PSYOP doing this shit? As I look at my friends. And maybe we are and we don't see it. Yeah. I hope. All three tribes are needed exactly that, JD. Yes, Pip. PSYOP is soft. I'm tired of everyone saying it's not. I'll say it again. With my full chest. It is. Then just scroll. Oh, wait. Yeah, exactly. Man, that's some cool, like I said. So anyways, so back and forth with the messaging, back and forth with who wanted to scoop who and all that. I'm just kind of like, nah. Yeah, I could agree. I could agree with that, JD, that maybe we are possibly doing something, but I'd say we need to do mid briefs and stuff like that. This is the stuff because everybody knows that. Well, for those of you that don't know, most of the products that are coming once the products that are disseminated, then we can throw it. Then we can say, hey, look, this is the products that's coming out. Maybe do it like a week later. Maybe do it like delayed attribution, right? Gray berets, you damn right. Got a gray beret behind me. Damn right, gray berets. Obey the gray. Red panda. Yada, yada. All right, so I think one more topic I wanted to hit before we got our guests on. Okay, so there's a lot of talk about the draft. A lot of talk about what's coming back with the draft and what would happen. Who would that be involved with? Who would? And I'm glad our guest is going to come on. We're gonna shoot the shit about that too, because I'm just like there's already discussions. There's already discussions with the Pentagon calling for the individual ready reserve a mobilization asset in a new policy. A new Pentagon policy was likely in the works before Iran broke out, mind you, but it still holds relevance as the military plans for any future mass Could you imagine the IRR? How come they're not hitting us retirees up and shit? What's up with that? I'll be honest with you. After being out for a minute, I would know. Figured 28 some odd years would be, would be okay. I've had my fill. We'll let the youngins do it. Let the childrens handle it. That's my time. I figure almost 30 years would be good enough for me. So the American people would revolt. Yeah, man. About the draft stuff. There is some back and forth about it. About what people feel about how would the draft be. Could you imagine what would it be like with a draft? How would they select? I mean, it's bad enough that when you have the majority of our youth, childrens, that don't even meet the test scores, that don't even meet the health rates, there's too obese to join, or might have some health issues that prevent them to do it. Where are we going to get the pool from? And everyone's like saying, well, citizens mean equal service, citizens service, blah, blah, blah. Just like, what was that, Starship Troopers? I'm sure retirees are not part of the IRR. No, we're kind of like, I mean, they will call for voluntary mobilization. I know for the COVID stuff, they were asking retirees to come out to be like operations personnel to handle the COVID task, be on the COVID task force and all that stuff. Then I think that I'm not saying I put my name in a hat, but I did inquire, and they're like, nah, we don't need that yet. We don't know. We're good. We're good on you old fuckers. It's the youngest, it's children's. But there are some there's some people that are saying, yeah, it's good. We should have the draft. Some people saying no, we shouldn't have the draft. I know you see a lot of guys that are going, I mean, to be honest with you, if you want to, I think if we're going to do that type of mandatory service, this would be something for the guests, to shoot the shit about too. This type of mandatory service, then if not the draft, then how about mandatory civil service like with the Peace Corps or the freaking the Red Cross, something like that helps out the homeland for those that want to get drafted. I just think that a friend of mine also posted on social media that most Americans aren't directly touched by our foreign policy decisions, and so they don't think that that's okay. That's a distant statistic, or we're seen as expendable assets. Is that one Metallica song, "Disposable Heroes"? Soldier boy made of clay, now an empty shell. 21, only son, but he served us well. Right to kill, not to care. Hey, what's up, Musa? ICE, the government, you will have a new mission, grabbing people for the draft. Oh, okay, I'm about to say, I'm not doing that. Start the draft with Lindsey Graham. Oh my God, that dude. If we're going to start with the draft, let's start with members of Congress first. Are you running for re-election? No, you're going to get drafted. That would be, ooh, that would be a good one. Could you imagine? Having members of Congress, I see what it is. You want to go for the draft? Are you of age? Then guess what? I wonder what our guest's going to say about that. Ooh, as a matter of fact, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop it at that topic right there, so that way I can get the guests coming on and shooting the breeze. You guys, we got Colin Jones. He is actually the first one to set off the WTF Nation Decides series. You guys know you can come on if you're running for office, especially this is a national platform right here. You're running for office, you can come on and shoot the shit with us. Doesn't matter the party, doesn't matter whatever. We're pretty open. We don't mind. We're all veterans anyways, so we can kind of relate and have some common sense talk. Again, I will ask that you guys throw the proper respect in there. If you get mad or get whatever, or what Colin or I have to discuss about, step back, go smoke a cigarette or take a shot or something, then come back at the so that way we have good, frank conversations. That's a good doubt, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stay with that topic. I'm gonna make sure I don't forget either. So, anyways, I'm gonna take a break, and then we'll get Colin set up and get him in the green room set up and all that, and then we'll be good to hook. So, all right, y'all. I'll be right back. Shots. See you.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
A soldier's tale of wild misdeeds, from the chow hall to the PT grind. You won't believe the things you'll find. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private tensions far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. A Humvee stuck in the mud so deep. A midnight rain, no time for sleep. It moves straight like gold in hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. The mud so deep, a midnight rain, no time for sleep. It moves straight like gold in hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. In the ranks where the wild things roam. Every soldier's got a tale of their own. From the absurd to the downright strange. Army of the force, it never will change. So raise a glass to the tales untold. In the Army's world where the brave and bold live the moments that make us say Army of the force every single day.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
All right, and we're back, my man. We have. I saw you say CJ earlier. Are you cool with CJ or whatever, or do you just prefer Colin Jones?
Whatever you like to call me, aside from a rank, I'll be happy with at this point.
Colin, thank you so much for hanging out at the Monday edition, man.
Thank you for having me.
This is awesome. Okay, So real quick, let's get the formalities out of the way. You were a Marine Corps veteran. I'm sorry I didn't bring any crayons. So
I'm a little peckish, so I think that's a little rude.
I know. I was like, so what's up with that? So tell us about yourself.
Yeah, certainly. Hi, my name is Colin Jones. I'm running for president in 2028. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps Infantry, so I was with 3rd Battalion, 2nd Marine Regiment out there in Lejeune. I'm a Mew baby. I want to give no illusions about my service. I joined at a very weird time, 2011, 2015. So my first pump was with the 26 Mew, and then I did like a UDP to Japan, and then I got out shortly afterwards. Yeah,
Okay.
and then how much of the resume do you want front loaded, or can we just kind of chat it up?
Well, I mean, I figure a lot of individuals, when they say, "Hey, I want to come on," especially when on a veteran channel, individuals want to have at least a good background, so that way when we start seeing where you're coming from, at least from the veteran side of the house, we could say, "Yeah, okay, he's a veteran. He knows what he's talking about and all that." So, okay, real quick, I don't know if you heard me before, but I was about ready to blast on the draft. So real quick. So you joined the Corps, you got out of the Corps, and then you went to school, right? I went
to. Yeah, you got it right. So
Okay.
I did my undergrad at St. Mary's College, California, over in Moraga. It's like a really small public arts school. It's like not really well known. And I studied a couple things. So I did a great books program. So just like imagine cartons and cartons of crayons, right? And then kind of did that. I minored in economics with a specialty in strategic analysis and game theory. And then I went over to NYU for a little bit, did bioethics. You talked a little bit about AI earlier. That's actually what got me into that. So I studied artificial intelligence, ethics, and policy, along with genetic editing, ethics and policy, and health equity. And
wow. There you
yeah,
go.
we're
I'm about to say
that stops the school.
Yeah, I'm about to say, but we glazed over that stuff in the first segment. So that kind of like, see, guys, I told you I have somebody who I can relate with. Anyways,
but you mentioned school and veteran things. A question. Well, my first real big school, other than high school, probably School of Infantry West, right? So I enlisted as a 03XX package, and by the time I walked out of the beginning pipeline for baby Marines, I was a tow gunner because I loved the idea of being driven around to shoot shit and not having to hump it. So
exactly.
yeah, okay,
exactly, yeah.
That gives a good ground floor.
Yeah, that's a good ground floor right there. We can start. Okay, so you wanted to make an announcement on one of your campaign platforms there. I'm gonna go ahead and let you say what is it? One of the announcements that you were gonna make that I almost ruined. I almost spoiled.
Behind the scenes, I was saying he stole my thunder right here. No, so we're talking about the draft. Let's have a conversation about the draft.
Send it.
Yeah. So a lot of folks are worried about the draft, and I can kind of empathize, right? Right now, part of my campaign, really the crux of it, and sort of what's inspired me to do something that's crazy, is that we kind of have a legitimacy crisis going on. People have historically low amounts of faith in government at all levels, right? Look at any poll, and this is reflective. And I think that's reflective. You yourself made a comment about, we institute a national draft tomorrow, there'll be riots in the streets, right? I think a commenter maybe said that.
Yeah, a commenter did say that. Yep.
Yeah. And part of that is that JFK line, right? Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. But there is a balance to that, right? Like at the end of the day, we have to be certain that when we ask citizens to do something as important and solemn as potentially sacrificing yourself for the greater good, whatever commonwealth we call this nation, we have to make sure that there is a real commonwealth, and that's not just some nice thing we say, right? There's a growing movement, and it's a bipartisan movement right now, talking about universal service, right? So this is a little bit bigger than just a temporary draft for a single contained conflict or a series of conflicts. This idea has gained a lot of steam, and I've been thinking a lot about it. Right now, like I said, we're in a little bit of a legitimacy crisis, and a lot of my campaign and where people will first sort of see me, and we can talk about how I decided to launch this in the weirdest way possible.
Yeah,
but
I wanted to get the draft part first, so that way we can ask about what.
Of course.
Yeah, I wanted because that's still on the tip of my tongue, and I didn't want to lose the fire. So
yeah, so let's send it. So let's go with I support an idea for universal federal service, universal uniform service for all able-bodied citizens that works towards one, like remuneration for their actions in service. I want to give just baseline. I want to give higher pay to enlisted members in the United States military. I think that's something that would positively influence outcomes in our lives, both as people who continue to serve and as veterans. I want to make sure that there are robust packages of benefits that are still there. You can Google. There's been a lot of cuts to veteran services, especially over the last 2 years. They just ended a veteran home loan program that was keeping veterans in their homes, and this is something I've been very heartbroken to read more about. Yeah, so we want to make sure that when people sign up or when people are called up to duty, that the nation that they're serving is behind them. And when there is a greater Commonwealth, that Commonwealth really does remunerate them with something valuable. So I think there is a vision for this package where we have universal service, as you kind of hinted. We incorporate pacifistic routes for people who are morally, ideologically, or ability-wise unable to participate in schemes of armed conflict. And we revitalize programs that are currently being defunded and taken apart, like AmeriCorps, USAID, and AmeriCorps, specifically AmeriCorps Vista, right, to reinvest in this nation and increase our Commonwealth. So that's the whole sweeping idea.
Right.
So sorry,
right.
I had a little stump speech there.
No. That's good because I literally was just saying I like the way you said that. More of a pacifistic approach to having this. So that way there is no friction or controversy with being a conscientious objector. It's almost like you do national service, you could commit to this type of service. And it's actually okay. So I mean, I kind of like said the Peace Corps, or maybe I drilled it into the I was going to go AmeriCorps, but I didn't want to like go into much detail. Or even the fucking Red Cross. Even if there's a funding issue with the Red Cross, well, we have these national enlistees, I guess you would say, or these national services that we have that could supplement the Red Cross. So they're almost like mobilized in their own little. We can make little Red Cross armories. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but they mobilize at any time there's a national crisis with disasters, humanitarian assistance near our borders.
Precisely.
And I always said that when we have any time, like for instance, like the border crisis. I always say that it's the opportunity for us as the services to conduct one of the greatest med caps and vet caps you can on the planet. I mean, that would be like the national service for those types of groups. Okay, we have services, we have people coming across the border, whatever. We have, we need doctors, we need physicians, we need dentists to check out.
We need teachers.
We need vets, something at least to supplement that while we get them processed over, whether they are, allowed to or not. That was my biggest thing. So I really wanted to capture that while we still had the fire to talk about it because.
Lovely.
That was the because my biggest thing is that, like you were saying about we have a crisis here. Is that every time we get somebody that we say, hey, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, I'm like, yes, shuck some money out. All right, cool, you're ready to go. And then the next thing you know, they get there and they don't fucking do shit. And you're like,
yep,
we elected you to come out and to do this. So
or they just do the exact opposite of what they promised.
Or nothing at all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So my thing is that what is it that got you into yeah, you woke up and said, man, fuck this. I'm Colin Jones. I'm running for office. What was the I guess the aha moment that kicked us off?
Do you want like the fancy version or you want the real version?
I just get you the real, man. We prefer the real. But I will say, be careful what you say because somebody will snip this out and say, well, back in 2026, Colin Jones.
Oh, hey. Well, lucky for me, part of my campaign platform is radical transparency. I don't really think I got real secrets to hide. No, I'll say it right out. I'm fucking angry. That's really my thing. I'm real fucking angry and I'm real fucking tired. And so I'm a writer. I wrote one book. Instead of finishing my master's dissertation, I wrote a book instead. I'm not going to talk about too much here. I'm trying to put a new edition out of it. Okay. I wasn't really happy with certain parts of it. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, we'll some other time. But I'm writing a second book. And it got to the point where I just couldn't do anymore because every time I would think about the news, every time I would sort of engage with, current events, I would just feel this like kind of restless kind of anger and this sadness and this hopelessness. And there was kind of a eureka moment where I realized I'm not alone. This is silly. Everyone is feeling this, right? Because uh, I don't know if I'm breaking too many mythologies about Marines and empathy here, but I imagine if I felt the feeling, this feeling is not special, unique to me. This is something shared.
Right.
And and I like to think I'm sharp, but I'm definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed. If I see something, other people are seeing it too. And with that kind of shared knowledge and understanding that, hey, I'm not alone in this. I started doing some I like to call it back of the napkin math. Like I said, I have a background in sort of strategic analysis in an academic way, and I started tabulating some stuff. I tabulated what I personally believe, the policies I want to see reflected in the nation around me. And then I looked at numbers and I saw that, oh no, the things I want to see is what the vast majority of Americans
Right.
are clamoring for. And I looked at the people likely to run. I'm running as a Democrat. That's not necessarily a loyalty thing, that's a strategy thing. Um, and I saw the people likely to run. And I realized, oh, none of them are going to fight for this. But this is what all Americans want. This is what we're all asking about. This is the things we're anxious, and these are the things we want to change. So, I have some time on my hands. I might as well throw my hat in. So here we are.
One of the things that you posted on TikTok was you said you did some math. You did some like the napkin math, and literally the I was going to say backyard napkin math, but it's the same thing. Sometimes I do things when I'm sitting outside and I'll type it down or write it down, or I'll have Mike hit me up and say, "Hey, did you do this?" I'm like, "Oh shit, I forgot to write it down." And it's one of those things is that you had came up with a formula. You said with the way the candidates would be for just the Democratic side of the House, that you would actually, that you said you would probably stand a chance of at least being on the ticket. What was it that you came up with?
I'm not sure we broached this, but I launched my campaign on TikTok. So I'm definitely the first presidential candidate to do that in history. That's kind of cool. We can talk crap about social media all day. I think there's a lot of dessert in that.
Yes.
But I've always had a little warm fuzzy spot for stuff like TikTok or Twitter because it allows regular people to get their voices out. There's endless bots, there's endless bullshit, but like there's real people behind a lot of this, and it allows a window and opportunity for us to shout and be heard by our fellows and our countrymen, and I love that. So one of the cool things about TikTok is that it shows you analytics, right? So it shows you, as you're a creator and you post stuff, it shows you the actual information about who's watching, predicated off the kind of information that TikTok has available to collect. And I saw some really fascinating things. 95% of my followers, in about 2 weeks, I gained 25,000 followers with no promotions.
That's right. You did.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. 95% of my followers are United States citizens, or at least people residing in the United States. Upwards about 80% are above the age of 25. So these are people who typically vote, right? These aren't kids who are resonating with stuff. These are our peers. Not to say that kids aren't interested in stuff. I love the fact that younger people are more interested in politics these days.
Because they're getting tired. They're getting tired of shit too. That's why.
We're all angry. Everywhere you look, we're mad.
They're like, oh man, if the old guys are getting pissed off, and then they look into it, fuck, we're pissed off too. So
everyone's got the internet now.
Yeah. Exactly.
But to get to your point, where's the math come from? Okay, so the cool thing. Yeah, I was seeing a conversion rate from the people who watched the video to then people at least followed along. That was upwards of 10%, right? To get to the Democratic primary, it's projected that someone needs to at least get 5% of the polling like favorability,
right,
and raise about $20 million. I actually think that number is going to be higher. I think it's going to be closer to $40 million. I think we're going to have the most expensive election just ever. Hopefully the most one in history, and hopefully we can cool the temperature afterwards. So if you look at those numbers just on the face of it, if you look at that as message testing, my message is cutting through better than the minimum requirement. And like, that's a huge projection, right? Like, but
good afternoon, my fellow
statistically
Americans.
significant.
My name is
right? So that one video that people interact with, I think that sort of launched this whole thing, is sitting close to 300,000 views.
Yeah,
So
the audience might have heard me blurbing in it. I was goofing around with your
Mhm.
post there because I was going through and looking at all the stuff. So that number, probably weird looking at seeing yourself talking.
I do it all the time now, unfortunately.
Does that number have any, like, I mean, are you just, like you were saying, you are discounting the bots, you are discounting, I mean, you're, I guess you would say there's a margin of error. I think here's the thing that makes me mad the most about just getting elected or just getting selected or whatever.
Yeah.
It takes you fucking $20 million just to be on the ticket. What kind of bullshit?
Right?
What kind of bullshit is that? It should not take anyone at all to get, you want to run for office? Okay, well, this is what you got to do. You got to do this. You got to make sure you're good with someone. You got to go up to DC and shake the right hands and also the shit. And then of course you have whoever you want for special interests that want to donate money, and you're gonna need about $20 million to start. Like $20 million to do what? Yep. What? I mean, that's just to get your foot in the door.
To run character assassination ads, right? To run smear campaigns, to lie, to manipulate data. Like, that's really what we're talking about.
Right.
And no, that's what people are so mad about. And I think that's why people have really, rallied around supporting the kind of policies that I'm presenting. It's not just because I'm saying the thing everyone wants to hear and that I believe and want the same thing that they want. It's that I think we're sick and tired of being told that we need a class to rule us. Right? Like, that's the thing that I think, red, white, blue, however you see yourself across the political divide, I think that's the one thing we all want.
Right.
I think a lot of the people who voted for Trump because of that. I think a lot of people who voted for Trump because they wanted someone who is outside of the political class.
That was supposedly to break the shatter the roof of standard classism with politics. Standard, you don't have to worry about who's in whose pocket or whatever, and he's the outside, like you said, the outsider. And and if anything else, I will say that it exposed the fringe on both sides to the point where nobody wants to deal with their bullshit now. No, I'm just like,
exactly.
You're just like, I shake my head. I'm like, this is what we got. This is what we have now. This is who we are going to work with.
Yeah, the politics has gone insane.
Yeah.
And but the cool thing is, and I say this, the cool thing, this is gonna get real grim. We have the opportunity to fix all of it. Like, things are terrible. Things are so bad that I'm concerned for the future of our country. That is why I'm doing this. But I truly do see a path and a real clear series of mechanisms that we can hit to fix everything. We have all the tools.
Right.
The people have the will. Part of the problem that we just keep finding ourselves in is that there are incentivized groups. We can call them elites, we can call them the oligarchy, you can call them the swamp, call them whatever the hell you want. But there are people who are incentivized to keep us divided.
Yep.
There are people incentivized to keep us disempowered. But we have one strategic opportunity. This is what I'm trying to take to bend that. Right now, the people who they pay to keep us divided are the least popular they have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
We have to sit with that and think about that. The people who want to control us are the least popular they have ever been. We have a clear shot.
And are not really involved in politics or the workings of our country to begin with. To even like I almost feel like they're just agitators. Like they're just on the outside. Some of the stuff that I was reviewing all you have so many freaking TikToks, by the way. I was like, oh man, this is some good shit. This is some good shit. I don't agree with that, but I like this. This is good shit. Oh, I don't know why. That's good shit. My biggest thing was I go back to the mandatory service about our education system. It's nobody can ever come to an agreement of what our education system should be in reading, writing, arithmetic. Talking to a friend, talking about how just basic history stuff that I used to learn in school. Someone said, well, I didn't learn that shit until I saw it on a documentary.
Yep.
And I'm like, then I'm like, well, that's normal. I mean, where I grew up, that's normal where, so the education system, I mean, my biggest thing is that I don't mind cuts. I don't mind government cuts to whatever, but you got to give me the fucking plan on what are you going to do to supplement that? Like, okay, I'm going to cut, for example, the Department of Education. All right, cool. You're going to cut all right. So what are we going to do to what's the supplement? What's the replacement to that? What policies are you putting in to where I know that when I send my kid, because I pay exorbitant amount of taxes wherever I'm living, that he's going to get, free breakfast and free fucking chow. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you're going to replace that, that's a holistic look to, I can't believe I'm saying it like that. A holistic look to how education is. Kids ain't going to learn shit if they're hungry. So if this just something, if you're, again, not just a wide example of that, if you're going to have exorbitant amount of taxes for property taxes where people live, then where is that going? Okay, if it's not going to whatever, then whose pocket is it going when it should be going to the school? If you're going to remove, of course. Okay, now what policy or what? Since everyone likes to talk about national this and national that, what national guideline do we have on education for the kids right now? I don't even know.
We have ESA. Yeah, it's something called ESA. It's overhauled No Child Left Behind. A lot of presidents have had marks in it. This is like principally an Obama thing, but both Trump and Biden sort of interacted with it over the course of their administration. Well, Congress did, right? My campaigns run a little bit differently. Like I said, radical transparency is something really important to me. And one thing you always hear presidents talk about is, I will do this, I will do that. Half the time they're overpromising because they're talking about things outside of the presidential mandate. They're talking about things outside of the executive branch powers. So I do things a little bit differently. I have 6 core policy pillars that I promise I can unilaterally accomplish as the executive of this country. And then I have agendas that I say, hey, I will support and I'll fight for this with working with allies in Congress. So I've released 2. One is on economics, one is on education so far. When it comes to education, there are a million different problems, but I think we can really pare it down to a selection of crises, and they're all different but interwoven. I think the first one is literacy.
Yes.
Our literacy rate in this country is falling to deplorable levels.
Yes.
Right. And that is going to affect our civic engagement. That affects this is a military community. That affects our national readiness, right? Like as technology keeps increasing and we're fighting more and more sophisticated wars, look at Ukraine and look at drone warfare in Ukraine and look at the technical capacity needed to effectively mount drone warfare. Literacy gaps that I would argue the old ruling class has been trying to use to control us and divide us are in a danger to our security.
Right.
They are a national security problem. So focusing on the literacy first, and we have various different mechanisms that we can do at the federal level to ensure that states are putting that as priority. And secondly, you also touched on misinformation. A lot of states, both on the left and the right, have interceded in state textbooks to try to push certain political narratives that fall outside of recognized scholarship on like what happened and when. I think that's also a national security issue, right? At the end of the day, again, we're facing a legitimacy crisis in this country. People don't feel like their government's reflective of them. How come the average American doesn't know the words "the Battle of Blair Mountain"? How comes the average American thinks that the word redneck is a pejorative usage for white working class people, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you Google the origin of these terms, it tells a very different history.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that we are teaching truthful history and not political soapboxes, right?
Yeah.
And so that's also a federal focus. Yeah. I thought about this stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're hitting it because, like, going on that topic, I mean, in growing up or being around and being in, living across the country and living overseas, you see the dynamic of, I don't want to say the intellectual, or I don't want to say something about the educational level, because there's just some people that just don't know because their school, their institutions don't teach it.
Our backgrounds, yeah.
Yeah, and it's different backgrounds. It's like, for instance, on the West Coast, you're taught about the Civil War. Yep. Fucking, there was slavery. Nobody didn't freaking like it. South attacked the North. North went fought back, and then of course everyone seceded. Everyone's pissed off. Blah blah blah. I'm just paraphrasing, of course. And whatever. And then we made fun of all the installations that were named after Confederate generals because whatever. Okay, that really was it. Or the Old West and how things happen out in the Old West and the frontier. Now, if you shift it for the way it was in the South, it's a different optic. It's a different perspective. It's more like a thing. There's nobody that likes to have that. Okay, got it. You happened this side, it happened on that side. Now, where we could find that common ground to fix this shit.
Yep.
And my biggest thing. Oh, we got a question here about: are you in favor of the richest?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, the Richest Star Act. Sorry, I'm gonna ask. I forget to ask questions.
Oh yeah, go ahead. What was the question again?
Are you in favor of the Richest Star Act?
The Richard Starr Act. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Oh,
frankly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go do some research and come back in with a TikTok.
Yeah, seriously. So the next time you invite me on, if you don't kick me out of here, I'll have an answer for that
Why
one.
would I kick you out, bro? Come on, man. I'm having fun here. This is some good shit.
So this is again radical transparency. I have an expertise in a lot of different fields, but I'm not a superhero, and I'm not gonna BS and pretend like I've had media training when I haven't.
No, I understand.
So I invite your commenter to give me like a 2 sentence synopsis, and I'll give my best response.
I'll just say right now that the Richest Star Act is a bipartisan bill, and this is from Congress.gov, by the way. I wanted to make sure I pulled it up. Allows combat injured, medically retired veterans to receive both full retirement pay and VA disability pay compensation without offset, I should say. So
yeah, with that synopsis, most certainly. Right.
Baby.
Again, I want to push up what this is sort of. I excuse me if I want to go backwards.
Yeah, no
right.
problem. No problem.
No, I think we don't pay our service members more, and I don't think we protect our veterans enough.
Right.
Like that's the problem. I think when we look at data, the hard times folks fall on when we transition out of service.
Yes.
And I had a lot of struggle with this too. When you leave an institution, you're also leaving a solid paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And you're leaving, potentially a hot cot and 3 squares. And those material things, we like to scoff at them a lot, but frankly, they matter, right? That is a safety net that one can use to grow your skills. It's hard to do a lot of self work that you need to do to transition your skills from the military while in the military, because you have to get up every day. You have duties every day, even as you're transitioning out. So a lot of those times, those transitions are rushed.
Right.
We need better
Big time.
transition assistance.
Big time.
We need better pay for enlisted members.
Big time.
Full stop. I will fight for that. And then we need to rebuild the VA after the gutting it's currently had. Again, I'm not familiar with every piece of proposed legislation. I won't pretend I am. That's silly. But on the face of it, 100% support.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
One of the things that and I'm glad you brought that up. One of the venting sessions, because we have Sergeant's Time, which is the military podcast that I'm also a host of. Me and Spanky.
Oh, love it.
And it's basically anything that has to do with policy, anything like Army regulations, stuff like that. One of the biggest things that I always say is that the majority, I can confidently say that a percentage of homeless veterans is due to the fact of lack of transition services or mandated, like, hey, commanders, you will not touch these troops while they're getting ready. Because some troops, some of them never left home before. They joined the military, and then we put them through the grinder of whatever, and then they're about ready to get out, and then bam, they're out in the street. Or you got those ones that have been in the military for so freaking long, like me, been in like almost 3 decades. I mean, well, luckily for me, I was in the Guard. I was in the reserve component before I went active duty, so I knew what it was like to get a job and pay bills and stuff like that. There's some guys out there that struggle. They as soon as you throw them out there in the civilian environment after being in the military for so long, we say we have them, but I'm 100% on that one, dude. We just really need to focus on that one, because it's not a. What? Okay, Howie, I want to ask a question here. How does CJ feel about men and women sports, and how does CJ have to say about transvestites in the military? I think you meant to say transgender. Hey, Howie, they call them transgenders now. The transvestites no longer the.
Yeah, it's a dated term.
Yeah.
I've posted a TikTok about my support for transgender Americans. Look, I think a lot of this conversation about transgender Americans in whatever sports is a distraction. Like, look at the senatorial race up in Maine. There are outside billionaires spending so much money, so much money to flood radio stations with that, instead of talking about what's going on with employment rates, what's going on with social services being cut, to keep people mad about issues that affect so few people and so typically marginalized communities. Again, designed to divide us. uh, I will say this all over the place. I support transgender Americans because I support all Americans. Period. I support everyone in America and their pursuit of happiness. If we want to talk about specifics about gender affirming care in the military, I have some perfunctory thoughts on that. But again, I just want to highlight this is a distraction. The conversation about uh, the every minutia of transgendered Americans' lives, that is a distraction to divide working class people. That is what's going on. We are being manipulated.
There's some
So,
instances where some people may not even realize that they're alongside working or serving with, or at the time, with the
mhm.
transgender American.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like that. To me, the way I see it, if you didn't know that they were there with you, then that makes the purpose of their of their goal, right? It's like they're to be recognized and be understood of who they are and who they are as a person, and you didn't even know that they were transgender, and guess what? Then now you found out, and now you got drama with it when you didn't know before. So that's just, I mean,
Yeah, my basic idea about anybody in the military is that I want them to be competent. We are doing a dangerous job. That is the nature of the beast. I care about competency. That's the one thing I care about. Um, you know, Facets about your identity, I think, bring experience, and I think they bring perspective that allows us to be a deadlier weapon to the enemy. That's what I always thought. Um, you know, when we start picking apart and attacking service members for identity traits that do not impinge upon their service, impugn. We are making ourselves weaker. We are tying our hands behind our backs so our enemies cannot maneuver us. This is silly.
no,
That
you
yeah.
bring up a good point though. It's all right. Isn't there like other shit we could talk about? I mean, that we could get to. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying we could get to that, but and we can also multitask. That's another thing that pisses me off about our government. We seem to not want to multitask. It's almost like we're focused on one thing, and we do not want to push forward. Like, say, for instance, the legalization of marijuana, about weed. I mean, what's your stance on that?
I support deregulation, or sorry, excuse me, descheduling and decriminalization of a lot of different what we would call drugs, right? I don't see. So again, my professional background for the last 3 years has been in clinical oncology research. I'm a clinical oncology professional. That is what I do. I help manage clinical trials. So looking at that, you get to look at a lot of medical data. I specifically was working cancer trials, right? And cancer prevention was something I actively managed at the site I was at. And yeah, smoking pot will give you cancer, but drinking will do you a whole hell of a lot worse, with all different kinds. So when we're talking about relative risk levels that we are bathing Americans with, right? If we're allowing you to get blackout drunk, it seems silly to me, at least on the face of it, that we don't let you get a little high. Now, personally, I don't smoke. I rarely drink, but go ahead.
No, I was about to say that there are the other edibles and supplements that you could take with THC, TBN, CBD, and all that. As opposed to like, it's almost like how what people are using like nicotine patches or Zins as opposed to smoking. I think just as me, pain management and stuff like that. What it was, with psychedelics and stuff, like something to venture. At least we can get a freaking baseline. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because that's the whole thing. It's like we end up getting all these. Well, we got to talk to VA and see what the VA says. Well, we're just gonna kind of like wait on. There's other universities, other institutions that have conducted tests that saying yes, we don't like you. Hey, we don't condone the smoking, but as far as pain management, THC and CBD and CBN can assist in pain management as opposed to using opioids.
And let's talk about PTSD, right? Like you mentioned
too.
psychedelics.
Yeah.
I had a colleague when I was studying bioethics over at NYU who was very much a champion for exploring the clinical use of psychedelics in treating post-traumatic stress disorder amongst veterans, right? I'm not a subject matter expert on that, but hey, again, I think we should be using any weapon to attack enemies. One of the enemies we fight with veterans coming out of service is dealing with the wounds, both mental and physical, that we accrue over a lifetime of service.
Hell yeah.
And I'm not going to throw a weapon on the ground if I can use it. And so if rescheduling certain what we call, again, drugs, to make them decriminalized or to work for decriminalization, it means that we also get tools to fight for veteran care, then I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Yeah. That's my biggest thing. I know there's been a push with the Grunt Style, our friends over at the Grunt Style Foundation, to talk in the use of psychedelics for that type of stuff as well, because that I don't know, it just seems like for some reason every time the VA talks about something, it's not even the following week you hear about someone ending their lives in a parking lot, and you're thinking,
yeah,
like, what the fuck, dude? You and a lot of it. Now, you were talking about that, what you were saying about the processes too. You can, like, I don't know, freaking streamline some processes so veterans know, hey, your appeal or your compensation or whatever you're submitting to the VA is getting processed. Here's the stuff, instead of, yeah, we got your claim, and then they don't know. And then when you do call up, it's like, I don't know, 15, 20 minute, freaking, phone techno music until you finally decide to give up. Or sometimes an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from the Bay Area natively. I was born in Glendale. I lived most of my life in the Bay Area of California, that is. Oakland's VA got in trouble, believe before I enlisted, for round filing a lot of people's claims for support, and veterans died because of that.
Yes.
That kind of mismanagement, fortunately, that was a long time ago, but right now with the gutting of veterans care that's happened under this administration, we're going to start seeing some more stuff like that. I can safely predict. We need to both streamline processes, restaff the VA to facilitate what is growing to be a more dangerous world and allow our veterans to heal properly.
Now,
that's something I believe.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you think sometimes in their lack of knowledge, like, say, for instance, one of the initiatives was getting all of our records AI'd to look at for possible fraud or possible whatever. Now, do you think a better explanation of what they were going to do would have been better, instead of saying, we're going to use AI for your records? Do you think that would have been like somebody like you? You understand AI, you understand that stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of rootly frustrated and offended that they want to point at the VA and call fraud, right? Like that sets a weird tone for the conversation. We're talking about service members, right? We're talking about people. We have a volunteer military right now. We can talk all we want about plans for universal service. We could talk a lot about the draft, but right now this is all volunteers on deck.
Right.
No one was forcing me to sign up. So I get a little bit defensive right off the bat when someone wants to go, we're going to look for fraud in the VA. Like, something about that seems out of step with our values as a country, and it seems very much out of step with the populations we're talking about, veterans, right? But hey, fraud does exist. So when we're talking about implementing AI into it, I'm very skeptical about that idea versus using human workers. So yeah, I studied AI policy and ethics at a couple different levels. I think it's a very powerful tool. I think it's something we can use to enable different kinds of productivity, to enable different kinds of eases in our lives. But when it comes to stuff like important decisions about people's benefits that might save their life, right? We need humans in the loop.
Right.
We don't just need humans in the loop. I think we can curate processes like that. Use of AI for disbarring people from potential benefits, potential assistance, I think is immoral. Like it is at least counterproductive, but I believe it's immoral.
There's a podcaster out there that gets veterans on, and the first thing he says is like, "Oh, so what'd you do? So you didn't do anything?" The guy's like, "Oh, I get 100%, disability." And then the guy, it's Caleb Hammer. Caleb Hammer. I don't know if you've seen him on financial podcast, and he just just goes off on these guys. You didn't really do anything. I'm like, who the fuck are you to tell a veteran you didn't do anything? I mean, I don't know if it's part of our ribbing back and forth. I mean, like, I'm just joking around about the crayon stuff, but it's like civilians. It's like civilians hear that jabbing back and forth, right? And they're like, oh, okay, well, a pot clerk doesn't do anything. And then you have a podcaster that runs a finance show and is like, oh, well, so what, you didn't do anything? You didn't do. I'm like, I mean, it's just, it's hard to fight against that misinformation and disinformation when you have those types of voices out there. And then, of course, when you get nothing from the VA, hey, here's what we're going to do. All right, cool. What are you going to do? Oh, we're just going to do this, and we're going to use AI to help crack down on fraud. Yeah, okay, but how? Again, going back like the Department of Education, how are you going to do it? What are your walk me through this like I'm a private. You know what I mean? And that way, so I can understand it. Somebody asked a question: with an increase of Social Security and government programs, how would you finance it without raising taxes? That's a good question.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I don't want to raise your taxes. Unless you are part of a very exclusive group of Americans, I don't want to raise your taxes. I do support shifting the tax base and shifting the tax burden. So I go in depth. Oh, my little camera setup's fallen. I like to do things very low rent around here. But
you're good, man. You're good.
I get a lot of comments on TikTok about the coat rack, my coat rack vice president. I've grown to love him. Okay, so yeah, I want to shift the tax base. I want to shift the tax burden away from individual contributors at the middle to median and below end of the scale. I want to shift the tax burden away from individual contributors, in fact, entirely, and onto standing capital reserves. What that really means is I want to tax accrued wealth. I want to tax dynasties. I want to tax AI and automation, and I want to cut your taxes. That is part of my economic agenda, and it has been since I started thinking about this. Look, so we have all the data to indicate that right now automation is going to be displacing work. Automation is going to continue to displace work. Oracle just laid off 30,000 workers. I think on Friday?
Yeah. Sort of the VA. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And no, please. And Oracle at least is saying, we're going to make room for AI improvements and investments in AI. Okay, so we're talking about taxing things to fund things. Right now, the Treasury has called our situation insolvent, right? Because of the current operations in Iran, that we are just not taxing the wealthiest members of our society enough to fund. That is purely it. They own they own everything. They're the reason everything is not affordable anymore. And we're still expected to carry the tax burden. That's insane. That to quote the words of my first battalion commander, that dog don't hunt. That's crazy. So my scheme is simple. I want to go where the money actually is, and I don't want to hurt the economy while doing it. So I want to tax accrued wealth that is not being actively reinvested, and where wealth is being actively reinvested but accrues too heavily and is over rewarding itself, like stock buyback schemes, right? I want to tax that heavily.
Oh, it's always funny to see members on both sides of the aisle talk about portfolios and who makes money while they're in. You always notice that they argue back and forth on their own social media platforms, but they never produce their own shit. Like they never, there's this one, like there's the Pelosi tracker, like that one on Twitter is hilarious to watch because you're like, holy shit, there's a lot more. And then you during the COVID time, during the vax, then there's the vax tracker, the vax tracker. There were some, politicians that knew that there was going to be an increase of use of vax and possible a mandatory vax, and then all of a sudden it became one, and then the next thing you know, you see their post. No one really sees those portfolios, and it's just like it's frustrating because I can't sit there and listen to anybody on either side tell me that, oh yeah, we got to fight against, like you said, the oligarchs and fight against these guys that are pulling the purse strings. Oh, okay, cool. Let me see your shit.
Yep.
Let me see your shit.
Put up or shut up. And like that's I share that frustration as well. I want to be very careful with this. Congress controls the ability to legislate what isn't legal, right? So a lot of the frustrations I hear, so I can see the amount of comments per topic broken down on my TikTok platform.
Right.
I get a lot of comments about, hey, what about term limits? What about Congress insider trading?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Congress controls that, which is very fascinating. Now, the executive does have some levers that we can pull, right, to try to influence that. But we do have to be respectful of the idea that Congress, with our separation of powers, creates the laws. So as much as I would love to more aggressively promise certain things, I think we do have to be a little bit strategic in how we sort of see the changes we want to be seen happen at the federal level. That's probably the most careful way I can put that. So when it comes to tax policy, though, right? I do think actually let's move off from tax policy because I think I'm still thinking about the Pelosi tracker.
Okay.
Part of my platform is going after corruption. You know, there are certain things that are illegal right now, quite unfortunately. There are some bills that have been proposed to try to handle this, like, for instance, forcing representatives to divest from securities trading, right,
Yes.
or in futures trading. I support those kind of efforts wholeheartedly. But also there's a lot of enrichment going on that it seems, at least to my non-lawyer eye, extremely illegal, or at least extremely morally questionable,
Mm-hmm.
and at some points infringe upon, again, national security. So I think that is something we all can feel. That is something very hard legally to put a pin in, but it's part of my 6 core pillars is explicitly to go after corruption and self-dealing in government and by government members' families.
Yeah,
We need to stop this.
You know, one of the things that I'm glad you said when I was first introduced to you, social media wise,
Yeah.
is you said you're a radical, what was it, radicalized Republican, but a socialist Democrat. You open the width right there of exactly what your aperture is at. So I mean, I'll be honest with you, a lot of veterans are like that anyways. There's like the common sense portion of it. There's not too much heavy leaning left and right. There's just a lot of common sense stuff. And I just can you give us a little bit of an explanation? Because I know someone's going to try to dig this up later and say, well, he's a Democrat, socialist Democrat. But not talk about the other part that everyone doesn't want to hear. You said you're a radical.
Yeah,
so what started the radicalized Republican and then to socialist Democrat?
Certainly. So I like to shorten it sometimes just for calling myself an American radical. I think that really gets to the heart of it. But no, I am a radical Republican and a democratic socialist. I wear both those coats at the same time, and I am very convicted, or excuse me, I have the conviction that they do not clash, right? Those colors don't clash. So radical republicanism is an American tradition that goes back to Lincoln. It actually predates Lincoln, right? So these are the Republicans who fought against slavery.
Yep.
These are the Republicans who believe, as part of their ethos, right, as part of their political platform, that representative government only works when we really truly fight for the idea that all men are created equal and share an equal human dignity, that all American citizens, regardless of where you come from, regardless of how you come from, share the same human dignity and deserve the same respect. Right. That is, I learned that when I was a kid, right? Learning about Lincoln and the log cabin. And I fell in love with that idea.
That was the California school system, anyways. Back in the day, that was kind of like that's what it was. Like I said, it was more common sense. Of like, oh, okay, yeah, that was like normal. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what that means. All right, cool.
Most certainly. And then eventually, politics has a long history in this country. Duh. And there's a flip in terms, and what we call Republican today is out of step with a lot of core parts of that. But I do really sincerely think that one thing remains of the Republican Party that falls from that, which is the idea that when we talk about what kind of social services we want to ensure for Americans, the idea isn't predicated in something like Marxism. Right? The idea is predicated for social services in how to defend your rights, how to ensure that you are an equal member of society, so that you can participate in the democratic project. Right? That is something that I think that Republicans still hold on to, is that when we talk about social services, we're talking about a rights-based argument. In the same breath, I'm a democratic socialist. What that generally means is that I advocate for a more mixed economy, where the working class has more control over the productive levers of society, right? I believe that we shouldn't have an elite class ruling us and telling us what to do. I don't think that just because you get to be born rich means that you win in all the games, right? I believe everyone deserves their fair shot. I believe we all deserve our fair share in the debt we pay into the society to make it so great. I am not a Marxist, right? So I'm really weird in democratic socialist circles, in that I actually actively disagree with the Marxist critique. That gets a little bit academic, but the basic idea is I think he got math wrong. Uh, like I said, this gets real nerdy. We're gonna have to break out a lot of crayons to draw this one out.
I don't think we have enough whiteboard space for that shit, man.
But yeah, so I'm closer to Bernie Sanders, right, in a lot of ways. I would say I'm about 50% Bernie Sanders, 50% Ulysses S. Grant. That's how I'd like to put it.
That's funny because that's how the left base started like moving a little bit before this election just recently, and everyone got, I'll say it, everyone got fucking stupid. Everyone's like, it became so, I mean, a lot of voters were pissed off at the fact that the primary, or you want to call it a primary for the Democratic side of the House, went the way it did. It got to the point to where, like, for instance, somebody like you, if you were to run for office during that time, you would have been like, shut up, Colin, get up. No. I'd be like, but I want to run for office and I think I could do better. No, shut up. We've already selected, we've already coordinated, we've already, like you were saying, we've already put the people that are on their path. It's not your turn yet. And they're like, well, all you did was just piss that section of the party, and to make them more to the middle and almost even cross them to the right as well. I mean,
it's still happening.
Right.
It's still happening. I have explosive growth, right? I started this last month. I started this on the Ides of March, right? And the reason I'm talking to you now is because so many people resonated with the positions I am fighting for, that they're willing to raise the flag. And I am so grateful for that. But this is what Americans want. I have reached out to, let's call them party insiders, right? I've reached out to people affiliated with larger DNC mechanics. I get stonewalled everywhere I go because I haven't paid my dues, because I didn't ask for permission. And that is a death sentence when you talk about, when you talk about big party stuff, you not pay.
And it's not like, how do I say this? It's not like you don't have I mean, you have some solutions. I mean, some of the stuff, like I said, some of the stuff I'm kind of like, maybe. But then other stuff, you're like, oh, I'm like, fuck yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yep, I agree with that. One of the pillars you talked about was the DOJ files. Which one are you talking about?
Hey, yeah, I can't say that on TikTok.
No, you can't say it, but you can say it here.
So I used the word Epstein in three videos, and I instantly got shadow banned. We are being censored in real time. And when you look at the people who own TikTok, when you look at the people who own that platform,
now they do. The new, I guess you'd say the American owners of it.
I miss show so much. We're being censored. Americans are being actively censored, and hey, it's a private platform. They can choose the rules, but when this is a part of daily discourse and daily life, I think that impinges on your free speech. And again, impugns. I keep saying impinges. Part of my core pillar is I am promising right now, here and now, and all through eternity, to restaff the DOJ so that they're adequate at their jobs, right? So they're competent, unlike the shit show we got. That includes the FBI. And to go after the collaborators and protectors of the accused crimes in the Epstein files, to investigate them fully. I'm not promising firing squads, right? There are claims in those files that I think we can easily debunk just using some real critical reasoning. But there's too much real. There's too much real there. That's part of the problem.
And not to mention the fact we when they were first released, we opened it. We were like, oh fuck yeah! It was on a previous Monday edition. We're like, hell yeah, let's check and see what's going on. And they put everything in there. They put everything from I want to go see a concert, and then the next thing you know, that person that they wanted to go see in concert is named in the Epstein files. There's got to be some fucking common sense. You would have thought there would have been some common sense. Like, okay.
They did intentionally. Flood the zone.
Purposely.
They're trying to fight us. Yeah.
Purposely. And so you're like looking at it like, I don't give a fuck about Beyonce. I want to know, okay, did she do anything? No, it was a request for a concert for somebody else to go to, and somebody said, here's the tickets that I can't. I mean, you could literally just like, oh, okay, whatever. It wasn't like wasn't even nothing connected at all.
Yep.
And then a week later, and you're gonna love this. A week later, there was a congressional hearing where There was Pam Bondi had somebody's freaking search history
Mhm.
up on her freaking.
She had the notes of
she-
all the Congress people who looked
who
through
looked
the
at
files.
it, yeah. And so I'm thinking, holy shit, they got record of us. They got record of us looking through the, we were downloading and look at this shit. And there's Steve Bannon. Oh, hey, we're fucking talking all this shit. And
Yep.
And we're like, dude, what? Okay, you everybody read on a platform. We're gonna get the FC files. We're gonna persecute it, blah blah blah. And like you said, it was flood zone. It was a wash, and we didn't see shit. I mean,
yep.
Okay, so you're saying you're saying no firing squads, but what would be the? Some of them do deserve firing squads, but anyways, what's the left and right limit to it? You know what I mean? What would you use as far as that?
So when I say no firing squads, I mean people will get fair trials, right? But I think there are again. So I keep bringing this back to national security because that's where my career started. My career started in the United States Marine Corps. That's how I think about a lot of political problems. It is clear that there are individuals throughout our government and extremely important places in business who have been part of this criminal conspiracy. At least that's what the available evidence seems to suggest, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I say they're not going to be firing squads, it means I'm not going to prosecute individuals before we've done an investigation, but I am promising a real investigation, right? By professionals, not by bootlickers. And I promise that when we find evidence enough to indict individuals, it doesn't matter how much money they have. It doesn't matter how much power they have. It doesn't matter what party they're in. We're going to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. And if this crosses over into a matter of national security, I am not afraid to treat it as a matter of national security. And I think we need to be grown-ups and look at the problem like this, right? These people are whoever might actually be involved throughout the entire protection racket. It touches on issues of intelligence agencies. It touches on issues of, let's say, yeah, sensitive nature. So I think we need to be grown-ups about how we move through that. And also understanding, I'm trying to think about left and right lateral limits.
Well,
what we have to do to keep our society safe.
Yeah, exactly. So if there's obviously not an issue, dude, fucking whatever. Is he an associate? Did he do anything? Did he have? I guess you would have to see the waves of the circle that you would say to see who was involved. Okay, as the circle gets closer, those would be obviously the more scrutinized and more prosecuted. The ones that were just associate, just saw him at a fucking party or whatever. Yeah, I don't give a shit about that because there's no tie, there's no nothing, there's no connection, whatever. But there's, like you were saying, now it's everybody. Everybody's involved. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Everyone was so happy to get him to get released and all that stuff sitting on my desk, and then nada.
And the thing is that the reason we're not seeing riots in the streets is that the average American doesn't know the full extent of them. Like, ask someone outside of your typical community. Ask someone outside of your typical circle who you may have talked about this before. Just be like, hey, what do you know about this? The mainstream media has not covered these adequately, right? The collusion and protection racket continues. I think some of those might translate into indictable offenses as well. We have to be serious. This is talking about protecting children.
Not to mention,
this is talking.
And this also goes on to the law and order people. Okay, if you're obstructing, this is law and order, right? If you're obstructing an investigation and you're obstructing these processes, then it needs to be prosecuted. Either you pay your $50,000 fine, you're 30 days in jail, or shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things to where you brought up a good point. It only seems like the mainstream media is only reporting on picking and choosing specific names for their agendas.
Mm-hmm.
And you just think, okay, let's get to the crux of this. Was he involved or not? Or was this person involved or not? If not, okay, let's move on. Let's.
No.
I mean,
why are there no active investigations going on? Cash Patel, why is this not happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Pam Bondi, she got fired for a litany of reasons. One of them was not, hey, lack of investigations. I want there to be investigations. Again, I want to say starting day one, but really I need to restaff starting day one, it looks like, which is, horribly depressing that is where we need to start something like this. Every single day I am not in office, I feel this little hole in my gut because I realized that's another day that they're able to burn and bury evidence,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
enrages me.
That like I always and again, and that's because like I said this before, we brought it up on a previous Monday edition. I know for a fact our servers and everybody else who's because I dropped the links and it was like, oh, everyone's like going through the files and stuff like that. So all of us that were
Yeah.
participating on that episode for sure. I always check it myself still to this day to make sure it's still up. Like, I mean, I'm obviously not going to download all that media, but I just click.
Yeah.
I just once in a while I'll go on there. I'll click on it. Okay, it's still there. Yep. I still see all the tabs and pages and stuff. Okay, it's still there because, like you said, one day, oh, we had a server problem or,
Yep.
Skynet.
Well, I mean, technically, the DOJ is in violation of the law right now, right? They were not supposed to redact potential collaborators, only victims.
Correct.
And
Correct.
they released the redacted, and they still have some names redacted who are clearly not victims.
Correct.
There are still files that they admitted that they did not release. So there are people who are sitting in the halls of government right now who have broken the law. There's no debate about that. There's no two sides of the story about this. That sickens me, and I intend to stop that.
What's the on that aspect then? How would we handle the I mean, this is sensitive still to the individuals that have been affected in the past about it. But how would you go about with the victim side? Would you create some sort of like victims task force or something like that? That way, because notice everything's all sporadic and all spread out. You never have like a central. I mean, you'll have like a couple of Congress people say they're the voice of them, but is there anything you would do to create something for the victims?
So I think the first step is partnering with victims who have chose to come forward and identify themselves. They're at some of these congressional hearings about these files.
Yep.
They were at when Pembani was speaking. Having their both insight and also being able to help them be involved in the process of justice, I think is essential. Now, when we're talking about larger things like victims funds, that's a little bit too far looking in the future, only because we don't know publicly what the full extent of the crimes actually were.
True.
Right? We don't know everyone who's actually responsible. That by itself is terrifying. We don't know if individuals in the United States government facilitated some of this. We don't know if this was purely individuals in the world of business. We actually don't know. We have a lot of suspicions. Evidence points in directions in sometimes overwhelming amounts. But until there's a full reckoning, I would like to be a little bit reserved about exactly the kind of eventuality we're seeing. Ultimately, though, human trafficking and child abuse needs to be taken more seriously in this country. It's every other week you could turn on the TV and there's a politician or a church elder who's abusing children, who have trafficked and assaulted women, and this needs to stop. This is disgusting.
And they receive such lenient sentences, and you don't see. I mean, you'll hear about the low end guy getting unalived in a prison, but you never hear about the high profile ones that happen. They don't get prison justice. They paid restitution and they only served like 60 days, or they're out on bond, I'm like, God dang, dude. It's funny, every time this topic comes up, it seems like it comes up every few election cycles, is the slush fund of sexual assault, sexual harassment victims funds that's in Congress. And it gets brought up, and then all of a sudden, like you said, a distraction will come by it and knock it out. Would you use that money to pay restitution or like that for the victims in that aspect?
Like I said, I think that's a little too forward looking, only because let me put it this way. I think we need to be extremely strategic and extremely tactical about the kinds of things we can promise to do at this stage of the campaign, and the things I would like to see happen.
Gotcha.
Right?
That makes sense.
Especially when we're talking about pots of money that are nominally controlled by the legislator. Right? One of the things I'm trying to run to do is to bring back law to America. We need to make sure law is actually important again. That our leaders, elected leaders, are following the law, that are acting within the law, and that we're not trying to write new laws by executive order, and we're not trying to overturn the Constitution with executive order.
Right.
So I have to be very, very careful about my aspirations, about what I would love to see, and about what I can sort of pledge and promise to do. And I promise you, I will be more careful about that than any other candidate you're going to see this election cycle.
Yeah, just I think the American people just want answers. They want, all like you said, both sides of the mainstream media is not reporting it right. Hey, we just want somebody to come out and say, here's what we're doing, here's what's happening, here's what's going on.
We want something.
And
We
then-
want anything.
And then possibly President Jones comes out and says, all right, I'm here with my Attorney General, and we're here to talk about these indictments that are happening. Attorney General, carry on. And then you walk away and let the Attorney General do their thing. And then the next thing we hear about indictments. We hear about so-and-so that got busted. We hear about this. And then as long as American people just get that, and that's a lot of things that, like you were talking about, the radical transparency, there's not enough of it. I mean, it literally is, we want to know, okay, what the fuck's going on? And if you don't, then the American people are immediately now going in between that role of, radical Republican and, socialist Democrat. I'm serious, because everyone's like, okay, fine, where's the Epstein files? Okay, fine, well, we're getting indictments. I've always been amazed to see the shift at the right when they are now in unison with the left to shit talk Pam Bondi. Everyone was like, what the? I mean, it was. The memes were forever. I mean,
CPAC this year, they I think one of the speakers of CPAC said something about who wants to see indictments, who wants to see impeachment, excuse me. And he was expecting everyone to boo, and everyone cheered. Right?
Yeah.
Like we are all sick. It doesn't matter if you identify as a Republican, radical, or conservative, whatever. It doesn't matter if you identify as a Democrat, if you identify as a liberal Democrat, if you identify as a left winger, if you identify as a communist. It doesn't matter. We all know a skunk is a skunk and it stinks. We all know that there is something rotten going on in Washington. And that's what I am fighting to do. I have to run as a Democrat because it's my only path to victory. That is a strategic sort of overview that I have stuck to, and I'm going to see through. But a lot of people found me and were refreshed and continued to tell me, because I'm running as a Democrat. I'm the most bipartisan candidate they ever heard. And it's just because I'm you.
Yeah.
I'm just your reflection.
I was about to
That's
say you're really a reflection, because there's a lot of people on the right that are identifying with you right now. That are like, oh yeah, fucking yeah, okay, cool. All right, you talk about reestablishing NATO alliances and one of your pillars.
Yes, sir.
Send it. What would you do, man?
Stop threatening to go to war with fucking Canada. That's insane. I'm sorry. Some of this is so ridiculous, and it makes me so mad. I just start shaking. Because look, we have strategic agreements with Denmark about Greenland. We don't need to own it. That's insane. We could talk about tinfoil hats, and we could talk about like games on games on games being played.
Right.
I don't care. We don't need them. Right. So I deployed with Royal Marines. I deployed with NATO allies on my first deployment into CENTCOM. I worked with them. These are our brothers. These are people who I didn't go to Afghanistan. I didn't deploy to Afghanistan, but all my seniors did. The people who trained me did. These are people who died side by side with NATO allies. Right. This is to have a draft dodger suddenly say we can't trust NATO makes my blood pressure spike in ways that are not healthy for me. So that's what my real unfiltered view is. We need to be. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say I'm a Cold War kid, man. Red Dawn, Wolverines. Better dead than red. So you ain't got to sell me on freaking NATO. I was just curious about some of the alliances. Now, it is funny because I do know individuals that serve with the Canadian Armed Forces, and some of them are like, "What are you talking about?" We're like, I mean, literally, they're talking about this while they're eating lunch. They're having their lunch, and they're like, "You want to go to war with us?" The last time I checked, we're all like doing some shit here. We're all doing some stuff out there. So I think a lot of it. I don't think there's a time and place for shit posting. That's just my thing. Don't get me wrong. But something like that when it comes to sensitive stuff, I guess we're gonna go do this, and we're gonna just and we're gonna invade Greenland. Whoa, say that again. You're gonna do what? Like you said, there's already been established. We got bases fucking there as well. So there's already established, treaties, alliances, memorandum of understandings, bases. Sometimes I don't think it's fucking necessary to have to pop that off. Especially with the Canadian allies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Canada has been our most trustworthy ally in the last 100 years. Like to even suggest something as to disrespect their sovereignty, again, makes me sick. That's silly. So yeah, when we're talking about the mechanics of that, more partner force exercises, more integration of forces, new agreements that can be signed, should be signed. We know who our geopolitical rivals are in the world. They're not freaking NATO. That's insane. NATO, we are NATO. NATO is us. It's part of our blood. It has been for the last 100 freaking years almost.
Right.
So, when we talk about, restoring NATO alliances, I also mean treaty alliances. There was some real, with the new prime minister, the current administration, the situation has shifted, but there's some real uncomfortable, tense moments with Japan in early 2025 that I did not like. But we need to make sure that our treaty alliance allies understand that we are trustworthy allies, that we are not fair weather friends, and that we're not trying to get some kind of bully deal out of them. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that when you said we are NATO. I mean, I hope you understand that a lot of it is, how do I say this? It's like, I don't want to use a term that most of the heavy left like to use. It's almost like punching down. It's like, no shit, they know that we're fucking NATO. It's not like they know that we are involved heavily in its costs and something like that. There's nothing wrong with asking for a little bit more money or a little bit more support. But I almost feel like you're slapping your little brother around, when they know that they're your little brother. You know what I mean? You don't have to fucking beat your chest and say, we're fucking NATO. Yeah, and we all fucking know you're NATO. Well, we got it. Thank you, U.S. If it had not been for you, and obviously would not be here. But the issues of the financial support or who contributes the most. I think it's obviously between their specific GDPs and also inflation and also the tariffs. I'm glad that was another thing too. You brought up with tariffs.
Yeah.
How the fuck you get a tariff ally?
Yeah, let's talk about both those things.
Yeah,
so
go for
the
it.
first is that, when we talk about contributions to NATO, hey, broken clocks can be right twice a day. And one of the good things I think the Trump administrations, the two of them, have done is given a wake-up call to some of our NATO allies who, frankly, were not contributing per the NATO agreement, right? And they've shifted. They understand now. That was yesterday. That was yesteryear. Germany is leading the charge at rearmament, and it's necessary for the global security situation. We need them as strong partners, and they've understood that. The message has been heard. We need to stop. I think we're going a little bit further than giving our little brothers noogies when we start talking about taking their land. But we need to dial back the pressure on NATO in a significant and meaningful way that further integrates our forces to ensure a peaceful world. Now, about the tariffs, yeah. I intend to roll back every tariff I legally can. There gets into be some minutiae about some of these things, but when we start talking about trade controls, fact of the matter is, and hey, I invite your listeners who disagree with me to talk this out, but tariffs are taxes on American citizens. That is a fact. When you process a tariff, what happens is that the person at the port, the importer, the American agent, they're the one who has to pay the tariff, and they pass that price on to us, the consumer. There's no other way for that system to work. So the tariff money that the government's been collecting is an extra tax on Americans that you are feeling in your grocery store. Like that is a real thing happening to you. And like I said, I want to tax workers less. That means tariffs go away. The world is richer when we can trade fairly and freely. Fair is important always. Fair trade is a necessary pillar to making good standing relationships in a richer society around the world. But part of that is essential is removing unnecessary tariffs. Now, when it comes to places like the Russian Federation, right? When it comes to certain strategic places like China, tariff controls are necessary for, again, security interests, not necessarily for trade interests. Some places there be an eclipsing of both, right? When we start talking about certain kinds of manufacturing, when we start talking about certain kinds of raw materials, there we can talk at the same point about that. American steel is something that this administration has loved to talk about over the last 10 years. And yeah, we need to be very careful about protecting native industries in some instances. However, as a general rule, I am generally opposed to protectionism when it comes to that. We all get richer when we trade fairly and trade freely.
Now that would include energy. What's your take on that? Brings up another question. What's your take on nuclear energy as far as that? And because we just had it was Diablo Canyon out in California just closed one of their nuclear plants, which I'm just surprised that they would even do that due to the fact that they have rolling blackouts. They have the PG&E mafia there. And what would be? I mean, what's your take on? Would we build new nuclear power plants? To me, I just think that's more cleaner than as opposed to coal and some of the other alternatives that everyone wants to come out with.
Gosh, you're really trying to get me to lose the primary already, aren't you?
No, it's
fine. No, I'll explain it. So, nuclear energy is one of the things that polls the worst.
Really?
With a large section of the Democratic Party. Yeah.
Wow.
This has been a weird disinformation campaign pushed by big coal and pushed by big oil for since nuclear energy has been available. Look, one of the reasons I've been extremely frustrated with Democratic leadership personally, just me as an individual, is because I've always been a fan of next generation nuclear reactors, like molten salt reactors, which are physically safe, and at some point, some variants physically impossible to melt down like a 3 Mile Island. That's what I support. Right now, China is leading the way in that because we have completely divested from that in America. There are some great private companies who are private American companies who are working to prototype next generation nuclear reactors. The problem is that a new nuclear reactor costs around $5 billion. And that's not counting R&D. So this is a massive project for all of America to participate in. This is not something that is quite as simple as saying, hey, well, I want to fight for this in Congress. This is something that we need to talk about at dinner tables. But personally, I support renewable energy across the board. And I support in that next generation nuclear reactors as part of that scheme. When we talk about molten salt reactors, when we talk about next generation reactors that might be able to be regenerative in some kinds of ways, we need to include that conversation in the same breath with photovoltaic cells. We need to include that in the same conversation with wind and water turbines. We need America to be energy independent. That is something everyone is feeling right now at the gas pump. That is something we are all feeling at. Even though we produce so much oil, we are still at the burden of oil prices around the world, right? In California is almost paying like $9 a gallon. That's insane.
And that's just for unleaded. We're not talking about almost $10 a gallon for diesel, man. I mean, it was back in the day. It was flipped. It was always diesel was cheaper than unleaded. Now it's skyrocketing. No, I mean, I didn't want to mean to.
No, go ahead.
To jump on that, but a lot of it, I guess, would say was like there's a lot of energy sources that could be used in conjunction with. To help out. And I go back to we can multitask, right? I don't understand why Congress doesn't want to multitask on this shit.
No, I believe leaving no stone unturned, right? If it means that we can create safe nuclear reactors, then I think we need to. And I think the physics agrees with it that we can. We can create nuclear reactors that do not allow for the proliferation of nuclear material as weapons. This is stuff that we've worked on, that we pioneered. And again, big oil, big coal has suppressed this. They've created narratives to make the average Democratic Party member afraid of nuclear power. That is something that all of the data suggests. And that's a huge theft from the American people. And potentially it's a criminal theft. So there's that to consider.
Yeah, I was about to say, and that's another thing too. You're talking about the propaganda and all that. Do you think TV shows like Landman give that?
I've only interacted with Landman through like 15-second clips on TikTok. I've never watched an episode.
Some of the clips are pretty interesting. It's almost like It's almost like I guess it was like Yellowstone for freaking oil guys. But
that's more or less what I thought it was. I thought it was like a Yellowstone knockoff. Not to denigrate anyone involved in the show. I just didn't get the concept.
No. I was just wondering because some people say on both sides that it's a big oil propaganda, and then some people say it's a big anti-oil propaganda. I guess you have to be in your mood or whatever or heavily in your bias. I just like watching entertainment and pop culture on its own as it happens. I don't really throw Except for the Star Wars sequels. Anyways, so
Wait, what's your favorite Star Wars sequel? So you got some paraphernalia in the background.
Well, I mean, anything Star Wars, I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of happy with Star Wars just being Star Wars. I want to see it, but I want to see it done right.
Fair
I
enough.
don't want to see some crappy edited, TV shows or whatever. It's crazy that when fans are now they're uploading the novels, the expanded universe novels, into AI, and now you're seeing, holy shit, if they had made this into a movie or whatever, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think I'm a Star Wars guy, period. So if it's Star Wars, it's Star Wars.
Lovely.
So there was another. Hang on, let me pull out your. Okay, so all right, here's where I think you and I are kind of like, but we'll let the audience decide.
Let's get into it. I love this.
Somebody asked about ICE and immigration. What do you feel about immigration and ICE?
So
because one of your pillars is prosecute.
I want to be extremely clear about this. Yeah. I believe there is clear and compelling evidence that many ICE agents, or at least individuals employed by ICE and Border Patrol, have violated Americans' rights and are committing crimes actively. I believe this evidence is overwhelming and in the open sight and view of the American public. This is deplorable, and I 100% support prosecutions for criminal actions by federal agents, not just in ICE, not just Border Patrol, but any kind of criminal action by a federal agent. They are public servants. I believe I am morally against the long-term detention of undocumented individuals who have committed no other crimes. I am morally opposed to the construction of concentration camps on American soil. My family helped kill the Nazis. I'm not trying to make more Nazis here. And as an economist, someone who studied economics, I can safely say that peaceful immigration makes countries richer. That is something that we have decades and decades of data on. So I support making and establishing easier pathways to immigration for undocumented workers who have committed no other offenses. That is my firm position. So let's fight about it. Let's throw down. Come on.
Okay,
give me what you got.
Here's my thing then on that issue. How is it that back in the day the left was so supportive over immigration enforcement and talking about deportations? And
There still some are. Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, we're talking about the big guns. We're talking about the Clintons, Obama, where everyone was like supportive of it, to include using that part of their election platforms. What changed? What is it that went about it? The enforcement's still there. Is it because we have people now with phone cameras watching the actual enforcement happen? And had that type of medium been able to be used back in the day, would we look at it like that? I mean, I don't think we have complete concentration camps. I'm saying only because of what I've seen or whatever. But I also feel that some of the criminal element that's truly being busted, then I think nobody's like I go back to the transparency shit. Somebody with some good fucking comms go up there and say, these are the individuals that we removed. Don't let the media say, oh, this poor family, this poor mom, this poor dad, or blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's the government's responsibility to be transparent on all this shit. So that's why I really don't believe that it's as bad as everyone likes to do it, when just previously, just a couple of generations of electoral cycles, actually, when you think about it, it was okay. It was okay to be, hey, okay, yeah, damn right, ship them back.
Yeah, I think all we've discovered, because I will agree that when we talk about Obama's presidency, when we talk about Biden's presidency, immigration actions were all over the place. So it's a mythology that the Democratic Party likes to perpetuate, that blue Democrats, liberal Democrats, we can call them, never enforced immigration laws like this. I think what's changed, one, is that the quality of the federal agents have clearly gone down. You can look up videos of ICE agents with Nazi tattoos, right? We're not talking about...
Yeah, I've seen those. I also want to say this too, is that I'm not defeating the fact that I'm not countering you at all that our immigration policies just absolutely fucking suck. I mean, they're worse than the fucking tax code. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, then how is it that some people can come in and some people cannot? How goes it that some people can pay this amount, but they don't go to jail? Or how come this people gets an immediate deportation and they don't? And you know what I mean? So I'm with you on that. Our immigration policy just is fucking trash.
But I want to get to your point, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like,
Sorry.
you know, when we talk about no apologies necessary, but I want you to give a real answer for me, not a politician answer. So like, you know, the Democratic Party has participated in mass immigration enforcement actions. This is different. This is different in scale. This is different in quality of the enforcement, and this is different in that the training has gone down for some of these agents to the effect, you know, assuming beneficence to the highest degree, that's resulted in the death of American citizen bystanders that we have all seen on TV, right? So that is substantively different than what we've seen in past administrations. The mass deportations that require new, again, what I would call concentration camps on American soil. I'd like to give a shout out to my friends at Project Saltbox. They do amazing citizen journalism about this, talking about tracking some of these detention centers and how they've been developing. It's clear that this is resembling something vastly different than what the Democrats did before. And then, so that's one way I'd like to draw a distinction. And then, I still think that was dumb, right? We have the FBI. We have law enforcement agencies who are more than capable of going after crimes committed by anyone, regardless of their immigration status, right? We did not have ICE before 9/11. And the creation of ICE in no way stops or would stop a 9/11 terror attack.
Don't get me started on DHS and what the fuck that was all about either. Yeah, because that's I mean, again,
So-
it's what they, you know, using immigration, well, you know, growing up La Migra and you know, putting them together with another agency that already is being formed up, that's disorganized already as it is. That right there, I mean, and I will capitulate to that point. Yes, that it's a fucking, it's the level of enforcement, and I only see that wrapping up because I have two takes on the recent big name events, like Renee.
Yeah,
Good.
let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Renee Good. Okay, when she was shot, that right there to me was I felt that it was a very marginal good shoot, I guess you would say, the law enforcement guys. There's also times where I've also said, motherfucker could have stepped out of the way. You know what I mean? The VA nurse, Preddy, when he was detained, everyone liked to post about all the videos of him prior to that. I'm like, it don't fucking matter. A pre-past event that you did doesn't deserve you to get capped. We broke that video down, and I got so much shit for this too. We broke that video down on a Monday edition show and did it frame by frame. And I did find that even though the individuals that took his life felt that they were, they were legit in their shoot, I felt that the whole operation was negligent in allowing that to happen, because there was an agent there that secured the weapon, and his incompetence. This is where me and you agree on this one too. His incompetence grabbing a weapon and just having it. You don't even know if he said, "I got the gun clear," anything. You don't hear any of that. You just hear the fighting. You hear the arguing, the yelling at each other, and then the weapon discharges. The guys are in the scrum and they're looking down. Assumedly, will think, "Oh shit, this guy's shooting." So that to me right there is where I lost some followers. I got fucking hate mail, you piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. Because it's like, hey, look, to the guys that were in the scrum, I could see them saying where, this guy's shooting at us, but negligence in the operation itself, where that one agent grabbed the pistol. It did not say, "I have the pistol, I have it secured," and then it went off. What were you to expect? You know what I mean?
So let's talk about negligence and incompetence. So like I said, I got trained by a bunch of vets from Afghan, right? And they're the ones who taught me how to do stuff like vehicle stops, right? At checkpoints. So, they're the ones who would tell me like, if the roles were reversed and you were forward deployed and, Renee Good was a driver in Afghanistan, and she's not trying to hit you, she's trying to drive away. You can safely step away. How much goodwill are you going to lose to the community if you just light her up? Regardless about what you think the threat to your life is, you can step backwards. So at the bare minimum, I've got to say, This is incompetence at the bare minimum. Someone who does not understand to negotiate force like that, but is given a weapon, they are either trained wrong or their brain is wrong. That's what I fight on. Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
I didn't want to say the Afghan is not a good example because we fucked them over too. So,
hey, yeah, I heard
go ahead.
I heard the bit about the drawdown. My commanding officer for the second half of my enlistment was Colonel Scheller. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that situation.
Yeah.
I count him as a personal friend. I have a lot of admiration for him. So
what do you feel about? I mean, because somebody put it in the comments. I think Shadow put it in there too. About what would you do for all the Afghan allies that we fucked over for the last? I'm sorry. Keep that question in the back of your head while we talk about the shoots. Go ahead. Continue.
No. We can shift gears whenever you want. But I do want to be clear about this because I know. I remember the core. There are going to be lots of people who your listeners are who are going to vehemently disagree with me about my views on ICE. They might say, "Hey, I'm being biased," right? I'd like to invite them all to sort of question why are we talking about this? Like, why do we have mass detentions going on in America when we have sharper scalpels to take care of criminal problems? Right? We have the most well-trained federal, or we used to have the most well-trained federal investigation unit in any country on planet Earth. The FBI is flown out to places when other places have problems. Why do we need to do mass detentions to catch a couple bad apples? Right. So why? Why do we need to do this? This seems silly. This seems insane.
That's a fair question.
And when we talk about, hey, I'm a big supporter of 2A. We have a guy lawfully carrying a weapon. He wasn't brandishing it in any way, shape, or form. I want to be able to be armed in America where I'm not randomly shot by federal allies. I think I would hope everyone would agree on that.
I'm about to say,
I am breaking no law.
If I'm getting scuffed the fuck up and the weapon's taken out of my possession, I would hope. Yeah, I would hope that. I mean, again, this is where me and you are sort of kind of congealing together on the agreement part. It's like, dude, if you're a law enforcement entity and you secure my weapon from me, and I ain't got shit on me, and then all of a sudden I get capped because you like, it's like, what the fuck,
It's starting to sound a lot like an execution. So
exactly.
At bare minimum, there's a competency problem. At bare minimum, we have a massive competency problem inside Immigration and Customs Enforcement and inside Border Patrol. And at the worst case scenario, there are willful bad actors, right? I don't know, frankly. I think there are good cases to be made that Americans should be worried about their liberty, right? Again, if you support 2A, remember that's a federal agent shooting a veteran armed with a weapon. Actually, I'm not sure if he's a veteran. I know he was.
No, he worked
a VA
at the
nurse.
Yeah, he was a VA nurse.
Yeah.
VA nurse.
I want to correct myself.
And just like about a week prior, he did a send off at a prayer to a veteran who'd passed in a hospital. And so because we highlight, I mean, like I said, we highlight, we're omnidirectional on everything, so we wanted to highlight that too. And then people were like in our comments, because what makes me mad about Facebook Live is that when you post something on Facebook, the live feed goes away. So after 30 days, so I was like, you shut up, dick. And there was like, oh well, this. I'm like, dude, what does this have to do with whatever? It's not. I mean, got it. People's right to protest. Obviously, it's everyone's right to protest. You kind of like need the First Amendment for the Second Amendment to complement each other, and I mean they don't do it for the dudes that carry rifles and fucking body armor and fucking capitals for their what I mean. So it's all like you can't have
so
that
at bare minimum
you can't have that different standard, but
exactly. So at bare minimum, right? Americans should be afraid because their rights were on camera infringed on, right? A bare minimum where Americans should be afraid because of patterns that we see between places, again, and I don't say this lightly, places like 1939's Germany and the detention centers we're building, right? Americans should be concerned. I am concerned. That is why I'm running. We are seeing some very frightening and disturbing signs. And again, I understand people will reasonably disagree with that. There is a lot of noise in this conversation. And again, my thesis about why we disagree, because I have a suspicion, I'm going to throw this out here. I think you and I actually agree on everything. I think when we do find ourselves at cross purposes, it's because we are both inflicted by so much noise and disinformation to drive us apart. Because the people who are in control of this country in control of the political class and the economy have so much incentive to make sure we do not see perfectly eye to eye. But I think all Americans understand fairness.
Oh, of
I think
course.
all
Yeah.
Americans want justice.
Of course.
And I think that's the driving heart of the beat of liberty.
Well, a lot
So, anyways.
of it too, Colin, is that you got to remember, and you're just fucking. I've been doing a Colin tracker on your TikTok, and now you're up at 26.9 thousand.
Oh, nice.
Why we've been
That's cool.
talking? you just jumped.
That's nice.
You just jumped up. So I was like looking at it. I'm like, oh, okay, you just hit like 26,000 or something like that, and now all of a sudden you're almost at 27,000. So congrats.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You know, I think. I mean, you were correct. I think there are probably some things that we really agree on, but the thing is that you and I are mature enough to have compromise, and we don't have this "you will or not" type of mentality. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's insanity.
We're not doing
Yeah.
You're talking about Star Wars. We're not the Sith, you know, dealing in absolutes. But there is but there is something that we can compromise on, and you're not always going to get your fucking way. No one is ever going to get their way.
yeah.
But now we've gotten so polarized to where it's either all or nothing on anything. You know, I have my right-leaning friends saying that, you know, you're too much of a freaking, you know, too much of a centrist or a hippie. And then I have my left-leaning friends saying, you're a fucking radical, you know? And I'm like, dude, I'm just like, I don't feel like I have to fucking agree with everything perfectly on someone, nor should, I don't agree with a lot of things anybody else would say, but I don't do this, you will do this or not. You know, that's not what we're based on, you know?
Oh no, yeah, that is exactly, I think, the heart of America, right? Like we all have differences of opinion. You know, I want to bring back an America where the opinions are informed. I want to bring back an America where we're allowed to disagree on opinion and still work towards the commonwealth that we all share in, right? We should be quibbling about the percentages of the tax rate.
Yes.
Right. We should be quibbling about, you know, the exact foreign postulation of this or that treaty. We should not be quibbling about the basics of right and wrong. We should not be quibbling about whether or not you're with me or against me,
right,
or you know, whether we're coming to real loggerheads. That's not what this country's
a lot
about.
of it too is that those with the more, I used to say, level-headed about it, could just stay away from the French. You know what I mean? The ones that really want to. You want to get your hands dirty, right? I can totally tell you're smart enough, you're mature enough to get your hands dirty to do something. I know you're not going to listen to the fringe either or. Don't get me wrong, you're gonna be aware of it, but you're not going to be like, oh well, I guess I got to go this way, or I guess I got to go that way. Not going to fall for no PACs or whatever. You know what I mean? And so it's like that's another thing too. On one of your platforms, you're talking about PACs and, you know, APAC and all that.
Yeah,
I feel. I just don't want to have anything to do with fucking PACs at all. I mean, it was one of those John McCain things where he talked about. You notice how quick he got ostracized when he talked about outside funding and outside influence and outside whoever.
Yep.
And I'm just like, I don't want any of that. I mean, to go back what I was saying, and a lot of people, not too many would understand about what a you know, a PAC does, but it's basically fucking. There's outsiders just injecting money into whatever. That's how you get the 20 million, right? That's how you get your foot in the door, right? That's how you 650,000 from here, 680,000 from there, $1 million from here, $1 million from there, and congrats, Colin, you're now going to run for office. And I hate it. I mean, pick your PAC. It doesn't matter if it's APAC, it doesn't matter if it's CPAC, it doesn't matter if it's whatever DNC. I hate that dark money where it fucking comes from. It's fucking frustrating.
So let's focus on that, because I think there's a couple things we could tease out here, right?
Okay.
So part of my campaign pillar, you might notice, is you know, I believe in American government for Americans. I think that we need to actively combat foreign influences in our legislative and executive process. So that's why I'm against APAC. I think APAC, you know, has proven that they do not have America's best interests in mind. I think that they are seeing us as a way to get will for a foreign country. And get armaments for a foreign country that is a blank check, and I disagree with that. You know, I have very strong feelings about the actions of our Israeli allies in Gaza. I believe it is a genocide. I believe Israel does need regime change. But when it comes to things I can promise unilaterally, when it comes to you know, promises I can make. One of those is to reject APAC and to reclassify them under FARA, right? To make sure that they are So
No, I'm saying,
go
how would
ahead.
you do that? How would you do that when a lot of them are American citizens that donate? Like, there's got to be like for instance, not like Saudi money or Qatar money,
Yeah.
where we can identify that. How would you go about doing that, putting it under FARA when the majority of them are American citizens? It's like American run, but you know what I mean? It's how would you be able to break
We
that
have
down?
deep roots. We have deep roots into a lot of Israeli society, and a lot of Israelis hold dual American and Israeli citizenship.
Yep.
I want to be very clear. I'm not out here to attack Israelis. That's silly. I served with Israeli Jews in my platoon in my first deployment. They are some people who taught me how to be a better Marine and a better human.
Right.
Again, I have very concrete positions when it comes to Israel's actions in dealing with the Palestinian people and what I will openly call apartheid. But I don't think that should be translated to any kind of attack on
The Jewish
all
community.
Israeli
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
any
I
more
get-
so than I think.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It would just be like me not. I mean, come on, listen to us right now. We're talking shit about our own fucking country. So it's like, we're talking about our own
yeah.
government. So I get it.
But when we talk specifically about FARA, right? I believe that there is legal mechanism. How about this? Because I do have to be a little strategic, right? If you tell all your dance moves ahead of time,
I
the show
understand.
is not wowed by it.
Yeah, I understand.
I believe there is copious amounts of evidence, and I believe there are existing legal mechanisms that would allow for the reclassification of APAC under FARA. That's my firm commitment.
You got good luck on that one. I'm just gonna say not to like Debbie down your shit, but I'm just saying that's people talk shit about APAC, but they're getting money from fucking Arab money too. They're getting money from African.
Russian influence.
Russian influence. Yeah.
Arab money. I want all of it out.
Ukrainian influence, and it's all. Even though we support Ukrainians against their fight against Russia.
Slava Ukraini.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, some of the, I don't know if you watched, there's a show prior, we play always Defense of Ukraine. Some of the work that we've done together to highlight the Ukrainian cause against the Russians. And yeah, so it's almost like,
love it.
It's like if you're going to do that, I mean, obviously I'm not going to ask you to reveal any secrets or, whatever, or any insider stuff, but it's, and this is just me. I would say that you'd have to do some good homework to make sure that, to make that argument, that would be a sell. You know what I mean? Because they would have to,
most certainly,
because I don't even think they don't even break like the top 10 fucking contributors on both sides. You know what I mean? I think most of it's the Arab countries.
Oh yeah.
And
So
the Russian.
now let's talk. Yeah. So yeah. Aside from just APAC in particular, which I just want to point out, because again, they are participating in an apartheid state where there's two systems of justice against two different ethnicities in their country, and I think that is a dark path that we cannot ally with. And if we want to maintain them as an ally, we must demand better actions from them. But that's why they're singled out when we talk about getting out. Go ahead.
Do you think that it's because of the transparency, just like how we have our transparency with our shit? Like if they would just be more open. I mean, we can't deny.
So a law was passed in the Knesset a couple days ago that allows for unequal punishments, lethal punishments, so hanging, by predicated on race alone. So if a Palestinian is convicted in Israel of a lethal attack, so this is someone who's killed somebody, right? The death penalty is warranted. This is just for Palestinians. So this is just for people who otherwise present Arab and non-Israeli. That is that's apartheid. That is two systems of government.
I didn't know that.
One for different races. Yeah. So like that's what my concern is. My concern is that.
Is it the death penalty though, or is this because it just so happened that there were Palestinians that are getting the death penalty? Does that make sense? Like, is it legit the death penalty being started up, and the first 6 we got is first 5 we got, or the first
No. The law reads that two disproportionate equal, like two different systems of justice. So if an Israeli is convicted of lethal attacks, it does not necessarily automatically warrant the death penalty. If a Palestinian does, it necessitates it. So that is decreeing by race. That is Jim Crow. right? That this is just lynching.
Yeah, I
There's
didn't
no
know,
two ways
yeah,
about
no,
it.
no, I didn't know about that. So that's a new thing
Yeah.
for me. I didn't.
And again, I don't think this is, not even talking about American Jews, but we're talking just about Israelis, right? I don't think all of Israelis want this. I don't think all Israelis like the direction their government has been. Benjamin Netanyahu is one of the least popular leaders, and he has pulled together
within
horrifying
within the state. I mean, so it's not like
Yeah.
everyone else shit talks.
Yeah. So I want to be very clear about this. I do think that we need to have a sense of moral security in our allies, right? And the treatment of the Palestinian people under Israeli occupation is abhorrent. And it is not just evocative of South Africa under apartheid, it's almost definitionally so. So that is where I stand there. But let's talk about, unless you have more questions on it, I'm happy to engage.
No, everyone. There's one question there from CQ.
Oh, shoot.
From CQ, he's like, here's a good question. When the attack ads come for Colin, what does he think they'll come after him with? I think they're gonna come after a lot of shit. What are you talking about? Well, go ahead.
The kitchen fucking sink.
Exactly.
So,
That left-wing hippie Ice talking to freaking Colin and blah blah blah. And he's just freaking leftist. Blah blah blah. We'll be on a list. CQ. How about that?
Look, there's going to be 30% of the country who is just not going to vote for me under any circumstance, right? But this is 30% of the country who is never going to vote for me. Right? This is 30% of the country who is never going to look at someone like me and say, I want that to be president. So I've already discounted them. There are going to be people trying to, and hey, in the age of AI, who knows what I'm going to wind up doing, right?
Or saying they're going to use this broadcast to say whatever whatever.
Exactly. See, that's part of the point. So I have no presumption that I'm gonna somehow not have my personal life under a microscope.
Of course.
I think when my personal life comes under a microscope, people are going to be very surprised about what they find. But I think some people are going to be very dissatisfied with what they find, insofar as how much the American electorate has drifted away from purity tests. Right? My campaign is policy first. My campaign is ethos first. I have a good conduct ribbon. It's one of the few ones I got from the Corps. This should tell you something about me. I'm HIPAA certified, right? Like I worked with patients and their private data every single day. So again, there's going to be lots of people who get on stages and will try to cast aspersions. In the age of AI, like I said, there's going to be some interesting things I never knew I did that's going to come out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm less afraid of that. I think that Americans can see through bullshit to some degree. And I think that the last 10 years of politics has definitely inoculated us in some forms to some of this bullshit. Look, Trump, had extramarital relations with a porn star. He's implicated in some of these Epstein files. Again, to the veracity of which I have not been able to independently investigate with my FBI. He still has diehard supporters. Right? Americans are moving away very quickly from purity testing. We don't like it.
Oh yeah,
it's
for
not.
sure.
It doesn't make good politics.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
We want policy. We want policies we agree with.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
So that's my answer about that, CQ.
So to go back, somebody said to go back on the other questions about monies and influence. Sanctions on everyone until we get a full picture. I think that's fair. To see,
I like that. That's kind of fun.
That's do you know what? Have you ever been qualified? Do you know that term qualified? Do you know what that means? Do they have that in the Corps?
Ooh, are you talking about? Okay, wait, hold on. Before I say something embarrassing, how about you tell me what you're getting at? Yeah.
Basically, you get a tree and you embrace the tree and you're hugging it and and you have to climb up it and then. Or if you don't do it right, you fall down. Then you have to do it upside down, and then that's you being qualified.
That is 100% not what I thought you were gonna say. I've never heard of that. What the hell? That is hilarious.
Like a koala bear hugging a tree, man.
Oh, that's amazing. We used to have this shtick. Oh, okay, we didn't. This happened to me, and I saw this happen to my fellow Marines because I'm a city kid, right? But we had guys who grew up in the sticks, and they'd be like, they do the tree trick. You know what I'm hitting at? Where they can get you to wrap yourself around a tree in a certain way, and they kick your foot, and you can't release yourself from the tree.
Oh, because I've heard about this. And your body weight is its natural lock on it, and you
Yep.
Yeah.
So half of us was like were city kids from around Cali, like my class at SOI who wound up getting pushed to the fleet, and the other half were like good old boys from like the backcountry who like to go mudding on the weekends and whatnot. And so they taught us some fun tricks. So that's the immediate thing I thought of. But I wanted to talk about PACs though, because I only answered half your question.
Yeah, go for it. Go for
Look,
it.
yeah, political action committees. Oh no, please don't apologize. Political action committees, yeah, are varied forms. The ones that are really the scariest ones, outside of ones that are like particularly about foreign influence, in my mind, are like the super PACs. So this is where like a lot of dark money comes into the play. This is where private individuals, corporations can spend unlimited amounts of untraceable money to flood candidates. This is why this is going to be the most expensive election ever. This is why, to get on stage, I'm going to need to raise $20 million. I think we're going to need to raise $40 million to actually be able to win this, which is insane. That's just for the primary.
Well, I mean, just for the recent presidential election, Harris had almost $1 billion just at $1 billion for her campaign. I mean,
I think for the actual general, I'm going to need to raise between 1.4 and 1.6 billion. That's actually what I think for the whole thing. But okay, let's talk about PACs. So I'm going to take PAC money 100% because again, I looked at the numbers and there's no way I could win if I try to run a Bernie Sanders campaign. Bernie Sanders couldn't win running a Bernie Sanders campaign. But I am going to try to take PAC money with the full and open idea that I'm going to get billionaires and super PACs to fund themselves out of existence. And this is my promise to them. Look,
I kind of like that concept. I'm going to take your money so I can cancel you out.
And I think they're looking for me.
Right.
I think they want it. Because look, right now, Mark Zuckerberg is building a doomsday bunker in Hawaii.
A lot of people.
Right? That is something he's doing. Yeah. Billionaires are going on TV shows going, please tax us more. I'm afraid of the pitchforks. Yeah. Right. People, Luigi Mangione was accused of killing a CEO in cold blood accusation, and people think he's an American hero. We are getting to a dangerous place, and I want to turn down the temperature. My economic agenda is designed to restore fairness to the American worker. My policies are designed to give us a floor that we can stand on and we can build the American dream back up on, right? And I'm going to say this again with full transparency. I intend to take the money from the corporations who have steered American politics wrong, from the billionaires who have captured the process, from the elites who captured the process, under the auspices and promise that I will tax them to hell, that I will take away their power. And I think they want that, because otherwise they're all going to turn to Mark Zuckerberg building bunkers in Hawaii. And frankly, you can have a lot less fun in a bunker than you can in Tahoe.
True that.
So
true that.
That's my promise.
Yeah.
That's my promise to them.
Yeah.
There we go. Now I'm done with PACs. There we are.
Yeah, I'm about to say, because I mean, I'll be honest with you, Colin. Everyone will say this too. I normally give guests an hour when a standard, but when we're jiving, brother, we're jiving. I mean, I don't know if the guys told you that normally it's about an hour show, brother. I got you on lock. I've had you on here for almost 2 hours now, and I'll be honest with you. This probably been one of the best presidential, or I should say, election candidate I've had on here for a while, bro.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I
mean, maybe one day we can link up, get some in and out, and shoot the shit and whatever.
Yeah, grab beer.
Yeah,
most
exactly.
Certainly.
So, Colin, thank you so much for kicking off this. By the way, this is our first WTF Nation Decides. Normally, we do this for candidates and people who want to, run for office or whatever. And you're the first one. So not only is
thank you so much.
Not only is this your first interview, but it's also, and we're honored that you had come on. By the way, because a lot of big names, come like, nah, it's okay. But I don't know. There's just something about you, homie, that,
Oh, thank you.
That
I said this to CQ when he first reached out. This is a huge honor for me. Being in the military, being a veteran, was a core part of my identity. I've said that time and time again. I have to put on the stoic face. This really is getting to me. Thank you. I am so grateful to be here. I'm honored to be here. I'm happy that I get to, again, talk to a member of what I consider to be my community and talk to, my community, and to let them know who I am and that I'm willing to fight for them. So, hey, the honor's all mine. I am beyond floored. and so gracious. Thank you so much.
Colin Jones, presidential candidate 2028. Keep an eye on him. I guarantee it. When the haterade comes out, we're going to be like, we called it. Hey, don't forget us little people, by the way.
Oh, you guys are my people. What do you mean little? We're giants. What you talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. All right, Colin Jones, presidential candidate. Hey, man, hang out for a second, and then while we go on break.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll talk to you all later. We'll be right back. Stand by.
WTF Nation Radio.
Thank you so
WTF
much.
Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
In the barracks where the madness breeds, a soldier's tale of wild misdeeds, from the chow hall to the PT grind. You won't believe the things you'll find. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private tensions far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. A Humvee stuck in the mud so deep. A midnight rain, no time for sleep. It moves straight like gold in hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. Mud so deep, a midnight rain, no time for sleep. It moves straight like gold in hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. In the ranks where the wild things roam. Every soldier's got a tale of their own. From the absurd to the downright strange. Army of the force, it never will change. So raise a glass to the tales untold. In the Army's world where the brave and bold live the moments that make us say Army of the force every single day.
Hell is a candle, not a big fireplace. It's a girl with blonde hair and tears down her face. It's a lack of emotion, but the devil's so warm. With a sense of elation and souls being torn. Thought she was the problem, but I came to find that the thorns and the horns had always been mine. The devil in you and the devil in me are just part of the problem, as problems tend to be. You don't need to explain, we can both feel the pain. It's alright to lose faith, just don't lose this embrace, this devil in me, this devil in me.
Yo, I'm singing with the camera on. Oh shit, what's going on? Welcome back, Colin. Thank you, brother, for coming on. I gotta do some housekeeping. Oh man, I'd gone further than further before. Thank you, hey Colin Jones, presidential candidate for 2028. Thank you so much for hanging out. This was a fun show, man. Monday edition shows are political and we get heated and all this stuff, but this was actually, and I appreciate you guys in the audience too, hanging out and shooting the breeze. So, I was gonna say, hang on, let me pull up some graphics right quick so we can knock out, there we go. All right, so we got this is the Monday edition, of course, with myself and Massey when Massey's here. Tuesday, Pop Culture Warrior with Michael Cataskio as the CQ. Wait, CQ is the Pop Culture Warrior, my bad. With his bad staff of Bad Mike and Angry Elf. The Smoke Pit is on hiatus with the Radar and TZ. And the WTF Nation Sports Bar with the actual King Smith. What do you hear? What do you say? And the coach. Thursday, Sergeant's Time. Hey, Sergeant's Time is going to be a different format. Stay tuned for that. So you may or may not see one live this week. FTX with the crew doing the field tabletop gaming, the WTF Nation staff. And then, of course, weekend co-ops on Saturday with Nemo gaming with, I don't know, he's been like gaming with lately, Fowler Gaming, Stack Up Gaming, WTF Nation Gaming. And then, of course, you see the three coming soon. Sunday, the reset. Dr. J had to take a break for this last broadcast, so stand by. And then the King and Me that you heard earlier today before I came on. With the actual King Smith and Michelle. Oh, and yes, PIQ. Yes, look for me being scheduled on a PSYOP series. Well, I will be discussing psychological operations and history of some psychological operations in the past with yours truly, kind of like walking in the shoes of Ken and what I went through, and also some historical tidbits and all that. Make sure you share, like, and follow Broadcasting Live on 5 different platforms right now, unless we have its own page. So 2 YouTube pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. 2 Facebook pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. Remember, those Facebook Lives are only kept for 30 days. It's meta. Bitch at them. And then, of course, on X at WTF Nation Radio. Make sure you share, like, and follow, and hit the thumbs up and subscribe. See ya, shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Nothing feels the same. Let it all be
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Я батько. Я молодший брат.
Я водій маршрутки. Я скоро одружуся. Я фанат шахтера.
Начальник отдела продаж.
Я прораб.
Я программист.
Я свидетель на свадьбе.
Дядя Юра, таксист. Я вчитель фізкультури.
Я студент-геолог.
У мене своя фірма. Я кращий друг зі школи. Я сусід, який завжди стукає по батареї.
Я єдиний син.